Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achak Wadash. All right, peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Out here once again, prophesying the downfall and destruction of this wicked, decrepit kingdom known as Babylon the Great. All right, in the Bible, as you people know, as America, according to the Holy Scriptures, it's Babylon the Great. All right, which is slated for destruction. Yeah, so, we're going to start off with Revelation, the 3rd chapter, 10th verse, and whatever the Spirit has, Lord's will is edifying.
There's a book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Right, kept the word of my patience. In order to keep his word, it requires patience. And patience means to suffer. So for those that have kept this word, for those that have held fast to what we have received, all right, which is this word of truth, the prophecies, the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being his son's name. All right, the Lord is going to keep those that are faithful, all right, which he gave them that faith. He's going to keep them from the hour of temptation. All right, and the hour of temptation is when that charagma, okay, is implemented, made mandatory. All right. So when that time comes, okay, a lot of people are going to be making hasty decisions. They're not going to be making decisions that are based in reason. They're going to be making emotional decisions. I got to feed my family. I got to do this. I got to do that. What about my job? But what about eternal life, man? What about the covenant that was made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? What about the mercy that was promised? All right, but they don't want to deal with that. They only deal with carnality because they're of their father, the devil. Shalom, man. So I think there's another verse.
Verse 11, it says, Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
Hold that fast. Hold it tight. And that's talking about what? Hold on to this truth. That's what we have received. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we have received the truth. And we are prophets unto the nations. We're here to tell not only our people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, what's about to happen, but all these nations, man. All right? You Edomites, you Moabites, you Ishmaelites. All right? We're here to tell you what's about to happen. All right? Your beloved America for you Edomites is about to be destroyed. Wiped clean. All right? We proclaim these things boldly through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right?
Revelation chapter 3, verse 11. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
Right, that no man take thy crown. And the number one person that can take your crown is you, being lukewarm. Recently the talk this week has been of men falling out. All right. Here it is, all these prophecies popping off. It's really mind-boggling that you could fall out, but we understand it because we understand that if the Lord didn't put it in your spirit to endure, Lord's will, we can endure. And you won't endure. You're going to fall out. The cares of this life, brother could grab that. Matthew. The cares of this life will do what? They will choke out the word. Because you care more about this current world. You care more about this current world than the world to come. All right. America is not the end all be all of life. NATO and the EU is not the end all be all of life. This shit is going down swiftly. Okay, the Titanic is the Titanic is sinking, pardon me, and niggas are more so worried about staying and figuring out who's going to have the better position on a sinking ship, as opposed to here's the lifeboat, which is this truth. We're bringing it out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This word will deliver from death, man. This word, by taking heed to what is written in this book, which is the Holy Scriptures, it will deliver from death. Okay, but the majority of our people, they don't want to take heed, man, because they care about this current world. All right, they're all entangled in this world. If you can hold 1 John 2:15,
It's a book of Luke chapter 8, verse 14. It says, And that which fell among thorns are they, which when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection.
That's right. So you get choked out by riches, the cares of this life, all right? Things that are about to fade away, man. Okay? I forget which it was some rapper. He mentioned that basically I think it was Frenchie or one of them. It doesn't really matter who, but the point is he said it, and he said, you know, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all bragging about boasting about riches, and this is a worldly nigga. He said, y'all bragging and boasting about riches. What happens when they make society cashless, man? All right, because they a lot of these celebrities, they watch the apostles on down, man, but they know what time it is, so they ain't not gonna have no excuse, man. Like our Lord said, if he had not came and spoke to them, you know, roughly paraphrasing it, the brother knows it, to bring it out, but
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, research, yeah. Going back to the point you just made. There's a book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death.
Woo! You see that? Righteousness delivered from death, man. You know, it don't matter how much is in your bank account. You know, certain brothers that maybe in the business world or have a business, you deal with these people that may have bread, but when your heart is geared towards His truth, you might have those things, but you don't care about it. You're willing to walk away from them because you know that that can't deliver you in the days that's coming. We're going to need divine intervention. What is $1 billion going to do for you when thermonuclear destruction is incoming? What is $1 million going to do for you? When thermal, go ahead, brother.
Even before the missiles drop, you know, what is $1 million going to do for you when the whole system is digital?
Right.
You know, you can't. You can have all the you amassed all this wealth, but you can't even use it. Mm-hmm. And now you sit on the money. What you gonna do? Just you and the money gonna be destroyed. You know.
That's the spirit. Jake rode by in the Corvette mean mugger. We said that. You know. But yeah, riches profit not in the day of wrath, man. You got Jakes that are concerned with establishing some kind of you know, black owned businesses, so Hispanic owned businesses. Okay, but that's not going to deliver you in these days that are coming. All right, it's going to be grievous judgments, plagues, even before that ultimate plague, even before the missiles drop. There's going to be other plagues leading up to it. All right, you got that, brother? Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Mark chapter 8, verse 34. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. For whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. Verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Right? What shall a man give in exchange for his soul, man? All right? We're talking about the salvation that's coming. This is a life or death matter. So that's why the brother just read, deny ourselves. We have to deny ourselves worldly pleasures. All right? Now, we strive to be, you know, stoic to the best of our ability. It is a balance. Not to say you're never going to do anything for your flesh. At times you do. But overall, our mind is geared towards the heavenly prize that's coming. Okay? And that requires vision. That's where the gift of faith comes in, because we believe in something that nobody else can see but us. With the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Yes, okay.
There's a book of John, chapter 15, verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had, says they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin.
That's right. And the Lord, Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call Jesus, he spoke to you through his prophets in these last days. Okay? So if he had not, read it again, Bob.
There's a book of John, chapter 15, verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not sinned, but now they have no cloak for their sin.
Right? You don't have an excuse. You don't have a cloak, man. So in other words, when the Lord spake unto Jake, that was it. You're supposed to believe on him, man. You know, you're supposed to believe on the Lord Yahweh Shai, which was promised according to biblical prophecy, man. He fulfilled everything that was written about the Messiah. He fulfilled it. He was born in Bethlehem. Okay? He was from the lineage of King David. All right? But our people, the scriptures say, ye always do resist the Holy Spirit. Roughly paraphrasing. So the same rebellious generation, hey, in Exodus, it mentions to not rebel against that angel, which the Lord has sent. And we know that angel to be Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, man. No, so they want to rebel against that angel. All right, and that angel's gonna come and put a foot in your ass, man. Okay, he's gonna come as an immortal power. He's not coming this time to sacrifice himself once again. He's coming to conquer, man. You know, he's going to have many crowns. He's taking down all these rulerships. The government that you trust in is going to be taken down when the Lord Yahweh Shai comes back.
That's right.
So you over here trusting in America, going down to Egypt for help, okay? But when the Lord returns, he's going to smite this place with fire, man. All this is going up in flames, and we can see it. We can envision it through the Spirit of the Lord. We see that this is coming. So, 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, if the brother can get it. What manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, man? Knowing that this is coming, knowing that all of this is going to be reduced to ashes and dust. This is going to be left as a desert to all generations. Knowing that, what manner of person are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And the conversation goes into our conduct, seeking to please our Maker, man. No?
Got a quick precept there. Going back to that point that we were making earlier. All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 34. And this is another warning, especially for us, you know, the men who aspire to receive salvation. The man who's given salvation is giving us the guidelines, things to do, all right, how to operate, like the brother said, what holy conversation, the manner of life, all right? And the Lord is showing us how to do that, how to live the life that's going to be worthy of salvation. It says here, Luke 21, verse 34, it says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
All right? Well, yeah. You know, we got to watch for prophecy, pray. We're watching for prophecy means we're constantly keeping our hand on the pulse of this world, seeing where it's at, seeing what's going on, seeing what legislation is being passed. They have a diversion over here, but we're watching what's really happening. Because the scriptures say there's no enchantment against Jacob. So all the enchantments they utilize to try to deceive us, hey, the scriptures say if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. So they can't do it. So when they try to set up these enchantments, what do? We're watching. Our eyes are focused on prophecies coming to pass. All right, not goddamn Will Smith and Chris Rock, a bunch of nonsense. We might speak on it briefly, but overall, we're focused on the most important players. All right, what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran. All right, all these nations that are going to be embroiled into what? World War III. No.
Also giving warning regarding the biggest topic, really the biggest prophecy there is before the Third World War, which is the MOTV. All right, and we're seeing it every day now on the news like it's nothing, and people are still not paying attention to it, man. You know, by now you should have people in the world, you know, flocking to the videos like, yo, you know, I was talking about this years ago. I mean, I didn't think it was going to come this fast, but it's here. So what should I tell you? That, yo, World War III is right at the door, man. You know, and people being distracted, they have no clue what's coming, man. That's why the scripture says what is going to come as a thief in the night. You know, as a thief in the night. Why? Because it's happening, but you're not paying attention. You're distracted. You know, the media, the bread and circuses. You know, you notice that the spirit of folly is at an all-time high. I seen a video, and I will pass it right back. I seen a video that you did. That was a read to the Elder Manasseh Zadbai's video, man. And now it's Jake. All right, the spirit that was there 2,000 years ago of crucify him and let his blood be upon us and our children's children. Them niggas are back here again, revealing themselves, man. They just doing and saying things that's like, okay, I can see you was back there screaming, crucify him, man. And you are those people that he spoke about, that those who pierce him, they're gonna see him and they're gonna be destroyed, man. That's right. You know, he's coming to make war against you wicked ass people, man. You know, so we come at everyone who's wicked, man, including our people. So that goes your so-called BHI narrative, man, that we're racist and we're this and that. We come against our own people who are wicked. All right, we are the true judges of the earth, so we judge righteous judgment, man, according to the scriptures. So if you ain't doing what the scriptures say, then we're gonna have to come at your helmet, man. And you gotta understand that, you know. But
that's right. Laying back and off the brother's point, you know, we go harder on our own people than anybody else. because this is really a work and labor of love. When this truth is being brought out, when the edification is being brought out, we're fishing for the elect. That's what we're really searching for. But the wicked of our people have to be condemned as well, because like the brother said, they're in a lot now. The bitch on the video laughing about who she called Jesus, but still, she's still gonna have to pay for that. Okay? And she's over here laughing and giggling and, oh yeah, if Jesus got jumped, I wouldn't step in. Where you been at during slavery? But this is the same reason why your bitch ass went into slavery, man. Why all of us went into slavery, because our people are rebellious. They refuse to hearken. They refuse to take heed. If the brother could grab it in first Ezra's, it mentions that he had the prophets of derision, first chapter. Yeah, man. Yeah, so our people gonna have to learn the hard way, man. All right, that's why the scriptures mention what? Scourges for amendment. Okay, plagues, tribulation, anguish. So the more we in this truth, like when we first come into this, you don't really fully understand what you're a part of. Then it gets to the point where you're itching to come out on these highways and hedges and condemn these wicked ass people, man. You're itching to hasten the coming of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. Because you see the folly and the wickedness of our people. They really, Jeremiah had the same sentiment. Even Ezra, he had mercy. He felt for Jake in the same way we do in a sense. But then the more you realize, you analyze Jake, you're like, man, they just got to be put out. They're too corrupted, man. They're too far gone. Pride is a motherfucker. Pride is a motherfucker. And the Lord loves to kill pride. He'll build up your pride just to bring it down, just like he did to Nebuchadnezzar. It's like he's doing to Esau right now. You got something?
There's a book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Heavenly Father?
Right. The judgment is coming upon the house of the Lord first. So that's why there's a scripture in James that mentions, be not many masters, for we will receive the greater condemnation. So, that means what? When we're teaching this word, being enveloped in this word, being obsessed with this word, there's a higher standard that we're held to. So the Lord, he's going to begin, and we get judged instantly, man. You brothers already know, if you go off, the Lord send a judgment, jack you up real quick, So how much more those that obey not the gospel? You've heard it. Everybody got a family member that's an Israelite at this point. Everybody knows a cousin or an uncle or somebody that's into this truth. So you've heard it, all right? You had Nick Cannon, he mentioned it. The Lord will have these little things on the left hand happen so that our people could be condemned, okay? Because they have to pay for what they did in the wilderness, all right? They have to pay for what they did to our Lord approximately 2,000 years ago. Our people have a lot of wickedness to pay for it. Don't forget, during the time of the Maccabees, there was a lot of wicked Israelites that were making covenants with the heathen. They made a covenant with death, man. So they wanted to team up with the Edomites and take us down, man, to further afflict us. So that's why judgment has to come.
Okay. The testimony of what you just said about how this Israelite thing is really like the Lord said, that this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached throughout the whole world, and in the end shall come, man. But the whole world, Israel, has heard this truth, man. This thing has been going back 30 plus, 40 plus years, man. And I remember, when you first started watching videos, you used to see a lot of Jake that would come around just to watch, because the Lord said he was going to make us a spectacle. So you had Jake to come out and spectate and watch. So everybody has seen these videos, man. Jake liked that controversy, good versus evil controversy. And that's what being a defender of the gospel, you're always going to have to defend the gospel against the evil ones, man. Against the wicked ones. All right? But the point is, everybody has heard this truth. An example is a couple of days ago, I was at work, and I was working with this Jake, and we're moving, whatever. So it was time to move to the next truck. And he said something, but I didn't hear it. And then he caught me. He turned around. He's like, yo, you believe in Jesus? I said, well, his name is not Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Because he was a Hebrew, so his name is not Jesus. But yeah, I do believe in him. Yeah, the true man himself. Yeah. And he said, oh, okay, because I was going to say something crazy, but, just because of your faith, I'm not going to say it. I said, all right, cool. And then as we're walking, and because I said he was a Hebrew, he made the connection. He said, oh, yeah, my family, they all down south. They're all, Hebrew Israelites. He said it just like that. And I was like, oh, shit. Like at work, So he said it so casually, like I'm like, damn, like a few years ago, when you hear somebody say that, you'd be like, oh, yo, you know about the Israelite, you know what I'm saying? You get excited and crazy.
Right.
You know, when he said it, I just kept working. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I wasn't going to go into it. We had work, you know. But the fact that he said, yo, my family, you know, they all down south, all of my family, they all pretty much Hebrew Israelites. You know, they follow. He said, Yahweh ben Yahweh, and I was like, yeah, that's in my mind. I'm like, yeah, they're going off, but at least they know about being an Israelite.
Right.
You see, so understanding who you are and what the Israelite thing is all about, that information has gone out. You know, that gospel has gone out, man. You know, because that's what the real gospel is about. Because who makes up the kingdom? You 12 tribes of Israel. You know, so if we're teaching the kingdom, then we're talking about these people on the 12 tribes side, man. That's not something they teach in the churches. And they've been teaching since the churches since even before the Renaissance period, man. And that's not the gospel. So that's why the end didn't come yet. But now is the end come, man, because this truth has gone out. You know, you got people living the life of an Israelite, man. You know, the women are getting order, the children are getting order, the men are getting order. You know why? Because things are happening. Prophecies are ringing. You know, just like the Lord said. All right.
Sure. I got a precept for you real quick. Ezekiel 33 and 30. Also, thou son of man, the children of that people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Right. So people hear this word, whether it be street teachings, whether it be videos, and the kind of lessons that we go into, it's always edifying. So what's going to happen? Somebody's going to hear the video and look at it, be like, oh, yo, I was talking about. He said it to his man, you hear this video, watch this video, bro. This is what I was telling y'all about. The Israelites, man, this is what they be saying. We the people, man. Look at this video. You know, you seen all the evidence, the scriptures that's being brought out, the history that's being brought out, the prophecies, the real-time events. When I say prophecies, we're talking about who do the prophecies fit, or who fits those curses that makes it a prophecy, man. What are these people going through? Why is it that a specific kind of people keep going through certain specific things? And when you go to the scriptures, it's all written in there. You see? So people are connecting the dots. Like, yo, y'all, yo, the Israelites, yo, I know. You know, a couple of weeks ago, Apostle was bringing it out that Jake, so was it over 13 billion so-called blacks that identify as being Hebrew Israelites, man? 13 billion? You couldn't put no building on this earth. You could put 13 billion people in there and they all gonna fit. That's a lot of people. You know, that's a whole lot of people, man. You know, just 1 million alone is a lot of people. How much more 13 billion? You know? So hey, this truth is out there, man. And you could believe that those numbers are skewed. Knowing how Esau works, you know, but that's all what biblical prophecy, man. All right.
Right. Yep. Ezekiel 33 and 31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them.
So what? They come on the common board. All right. They watch the videos. People come around here. How many times we've spoken to people who came up, you know, doing all kinds of wickedness? We give them the truth. We tell them to repent. You know, they'd be like, yeah, you right, yo, I'll be back next week. And you never see them again, man. You know, you never hear from them again. You never see them again. It's like, what happened? You know, and that goes back to the parable, Yahushua, we just read it. You know, they step out and they're saying, jump on them. And it takes them and snatches them out of their places, man, out of their minds. You know, because the Lord said, nah, you're not going to get it. I was just using you so the brothers can edify those who are watching. About it. You know, just like that. You know?
Yeah,
So,
and then there's also times when Lord might have it to where they come up once, you know, and then they hear it, and then that's all they need, you know, because most of the time people come up to get marked for salvation or destruction. So they either, you know, they don't need to necessarily keep coming back here. But some of them, like you said, they just, you know, one and done. And another, you know, hey, the Lord might say, you come here once so that you can go tell somebody else what you heard, and then you be out, and then they're the ones who really gonna get it.
happens a lot. You know, it happens a lot. It could be an argument. You know, you might come over here, you tell them the truth, and it might not sit well with him. Or Edomites can't make it. Oh, nah, y'all preaching hate. And God said love. Y'all preaching hate. I can't do that. Nah, we was good, bro. When he said white people can't make it, we done, bro. I can't work with that. That's not love, right? And they'll go stand next to a friend who might be part of the elect. And he might be like, yo, the Israelite, da da da. And there might be an argument right there. I was standing right there. They said white people can't make it. Yeah, bro, look what they've done. Like, how you gonna make it? Would you be happy if these people went to the kingdom with you? Like, we still gonna be getting shot and beat up in the streets, man. We don't want that. You know? So by just pushing that energy out there, you have that division, but ultimately it's only the elect that will make it. That's it. All right, no matter how it happens, only the elect will make it.
Ezekiel 33 and 31 again, and they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shew much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness.
Right. That's why a lot of them don't like the videos that we bring out. You know, Jake don't like this. That's what it is. All right. When you tell them about the scriptures and the truth, what ultimately it boils down to discipline. You know, leaving off the cares of this world and turning a new leaf, becoming a new man, following after Yahweh Shai is hard, man. When you teach people certain things about the scriptures, it's hard for them to understand it. It's hard for them to accept it. You know, if you tell a woman, hey, you know, according to scriptures, I can have multiple women. Oh, no. That's a deal breaker. You could tell her everything else in the world, and she'd be like, yes. That one thing, you know, hey, that God gonna have to change my mind in the kingdom because I can't, you know, I can't see you wear another woman. How's that even? How you going to be able to do that? You know, they don't understand that the Lord is the one who's going to program everything. Man.
That's why our minds are going to be changed.
You know, everything is going to have to change. Man. You know, but you teach them all these things, and they go back to the culpability of wickedness because that's the norm. When something is normal, it's easy to do. When it's abnormal and it's the right thing to do, that's what makes it even harder, man. You know, it's like, nah, you guys are weird if you don't eat pork. Why is that every time we go out, we gotta get something separate for you? You know? Oh, this guy's boring. He's going to tell us that everything we're doing and saying is wicked. You know? So what?
No, son, I was saying to myself, I'm not killing myself.
Right. Boom. See? So we have a different mentality. You know, you tell a chick, hey, look, when you on your weekly whatever, all right, your monthly cycle, I can't be around you. She's like, what do you mean? Like, so you just want to be around me just to F me? Nah, according to the scriptures, you're unclean, you're in your purification stage, so I can't be around you. You really shouldn't be around anyone, really, if you can help it. You know, but we live in a society that you got to go to work, you know, you got to go sit in the bus, you got to sit, whatever, you know, and that's all defining wherever you may go. You know, you bring out the precepts, you be like, this is where it is, this is what it says. They're like, oh, damn, I didn't know that was also in the Bible. That's kind of harsh, that's kind of rude. You know, they don't understand that there's an order, man. There's a way of doing things. That's just the laws of nature. You don't get to change the laws of nature within the past 2 generations and say accept it. Like how these crazy so-called lefties, you know, the left, alternative lifestyle people. There's a reason why they're on the left. You know, the so-called liberals, they're the left, man. Sinister. All right. It's crazy how they put it like that so you can see it, man. But people still don't see it, man. You know, transforming. You know, every day some new shit, some new ass, weird ass shit that people gotta accept. You know, and those who don't stand up against it, you're part of the problem. Okay, you're part of the problem. If you say, oh, you know, I mean, they ain't doing it to me. I mean, as long as they don't, you know, whatever you do in your own room, that's your privacy. You're part of the problem, bro. You're supposed to condemn those things, man. You can't let them feel comfortable doing that because what happens? They ask for, oh, equality. Next thing you know, you give them that equal seat. They want to take over the whole thing and then kick your ass out. That's how it always happens. You see? So you're supposed to condemn it. You're supposed to make them uncomfortable when they come around with that bullshit, man. You're not supposed to give them a seat at the table. You be like, nah, you can't be around here, bro. You gotta go. Simple as that. Oh, you don't like me because what? Are you homophobic? According to the scriptures, then you about to be missiles. You can get your shit, you can get out. It is what it is, man. You know? And yeah, we're gonna be demonized for that, but we gotta stand on the truth, man. That's why Ezra saw what he saw. He said what? He saw those men that stood so stiffly, all right, for the name of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay? The Lord said he's reserved to himself 7,000 men that will not bow the knee to Baal.
That's right.
So what does that mean? You got to think of the time of Daniel, because that's the times that we're coming in, man. They're about to outlaw the Bible. They're about to ban the Bible. So what does that mean? Those who preach the Bible, those who teach the Bible, all right, those who study the Bible, those who pray, it's going to be just like the Babylonian times again. If you're caught reading the Bible, if you're caught street teaching, if you're caught speaking anything about the scriptures, you're going to be demonized. You could potentially be arrested and put to death. Okay? the spake as a dragon, we're about to enter into those times, man. But they have to do away with the scriptures because of the sinister idea and the sinister world that they try to create, man. And only the scriptures is going to condemn that. And those who believe in the scriptures are going to escape those plans that they got, man. All right? Precept?
Proverbs 17 and 15. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Done. So going back to that point, right? If you don't condemn it and you okay with it, or you don't speak against it, all right? The Most High says you're an enemy to him, man. You're an abomination to him, man. Okay? Because the Most High is all about righteousness, man. Balance. Okay? So if everybody's doing wickedness, who's going to stand up for the Lord? Where's the balance at? We might be few, but we're very strong. Okay? And you have to believe that. This society is going to drown you, eat you alive if you just sit there and just passively just accept shit. Because that's what they want. They want a foot in the door. If somebody's coming at your door and you open the door just a little bit and they start sticking their foot in, you know, they slowly open the door, coming in. Next thing you know, it's seconds. The whole door is going to be open. Oh, just you put your foot and just pass through small. Nah, bro, they're going to open and then invite other people to come in. And now you're what's going on? Now you have no place to sit. There's bad people in there making noise. That's what happens when you accept stupid shit like that, man. The demons hop in, you know? And oh, you accepted this, but you against that? Nah, bro. You can't be on that type of time, man.
That's what they're doing. That's the same method they basically, you already took one. Well, take two. Take two, take four. Take four, take the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and then as soon as you take, they bringing in more. And you know what I'm saying? They done told you the last one taking it, and they call them for more. You know what I'm saying? So then it gets to the point where they're not asking, they're forcing you now because it's become the norm. You know, you're not gonna fight it. While you were taking it, the system was being put in place. You thought I'm gonna take it so we can go back to how? No. You take it. That's just one layer that you got to build upon every single time. And every layer you get on, you don't get back down. You stay right there and you build upon that. Like the gas prices. When was the last time you seen a gas in 350s or 320s or something? That's gone. All right, they'll hit you with 470 something, then they'll bring it back down 450. You know, and now everybody's like, I mean, it's not as bad as 470. You know, then they'll bring it back down to about 405, 419, 420. You know, and then they keep fluctuating. 410 today, tomorrow is 417. Next day is 412. Right, and you go back and forth like, I mean, over here it's 410, over there it's 420. You know, but at least it's not 5. I mean, it's not 470 like last time. You know, and now you're not even thinking about how things used to be no more. You're thinking about how at least this isn't as bad. That's how they get you, man. You know, that's how they get you. But if people were to stand up and fight and be like, nah, hell no, we put this gas to $4 for what? Nah, we're not doing this. They would have kept that shit right back down there. You know? But
Yeah, I want to add a point I was holding on to. I want to build off the things that you were saying, going back to what we was talking about why Jake is gonna get punished and all that. The Most High is not gonna punish Jake just because the Most High is evil or something. You gotta think of it like this. My mother has a daycare, right? So I see one in particular. First of all, my niece is a rude ass little child, and then second, there's a kid in my mother's daycare that particularly is fucking rude as shit. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you gotta understand. One of the reasons why people are gonna get judged is because they produce murderers in the society. We can't always blame Esau for Esau did this and Esau did this. Yes, he did do a lot of things in our community, but we are the cause of why we have a lot of fucking pretty much demonic children or pretty much grown-ass children walking the earth because you didn't raise up the child properly, starting from the young age. Like my niece, she screams at you. Well, she don't scare me because I put her in the place. At least when the mom is not around or my mom is not around. But like the other kid, you can't talk to him. You can't tell him nothing. When they grow up, right, and they can get over on the parents and speak to the parents in how any way, what do you think they're gonna do when they meet other people? They're gonna speak to them however they feel to speak to them because they got away with it with their family members. And now when they go out in society, because the family members and other the parents and other family members and maybe other people that they walk to didn't say anything, didn't correct them. Now when they meet somebody on the street, that's why when you go up in like junior high school, you know, pardon my legs, why do you think dudes are so easy to say, suck my dick, shut the fuck up? because the parents never told him, and nobody ever punched him in the face. Say, "You don't say that shit to me. I don't respect that type of stuff." So now, when you walk into somebody else who wasn't grown up correctly and things like that, and this person, you know, is about that lifestyle, it's like, yo, listen, you talk to me like that, I'll end you. And you know what I mean by end you. Now, then the parents are gonna come like, oh my God, my poor baby. Why would this person do this to my child? But it's like, no. Nah, no poor baby, nothing. You gotta sometimes look. Why is your kid acting like this? Because something that people don't like to do is take accountability. You gotta look back and sit there and say, how the fuck did you raise this kid? Why is the kid doing all this craziness? Why is the kid talking to people like this? The kid's not doing this shit for no fucking reason, pardon my language, just because they just grew up. Now, yeah, you do have some kids that just grow up to be demons, and then you have some kids that they're like a little bit more easier. They're more easier to listen and take correction, and then there's some that's like they're just straight up demons. No matter what you do, they just don't. It's like that's their lot. But you do have parents that don't tell the kids nothing. Like now, what I'm seeing, first and foremost, my niece, and then that other kid in my mother's daycare, they don't beat the kid. I'll be looking, I'm like, this fucking kid's child. That's what I can do with my niece. When my mother's gone, even if her brother's there, I'll be like, listen, I'll be like, yo, handle your sister, I'm gonna handle it. If you don't handle it, I'm like, listen, I am not your fucking mother, and I'm not grandma. I will beat your fucking ass. Because the other day I had to go outside and get chocolate because I'm like, listen, let me be spiritual. Because if I touch this kid, I don't want to, like, if you get what I'm saying, like a paper ball. Because I had to leave, go get chocolate yesterday, so I won't lose my fucking temper. I'm like, you know what? I don't want no situation. Not saying I would do that, but like, I don't want nobody to say nothing. But it's the way you raise your kids, and the part of the reason why we have these kids, like Apostle Tara did a video, I think it was about a year ago, where you had two young Israelite women. They was probably like younger than 15 years old. They killed a heathen in a car. They took the car and drove off, and the car skid somewhere, and it was like this on the sidewalk, and like the heathen, he was like thrown into the wall. And it's like, yo, where's your upbringing? How the fuck do two kids take the car while the man is in there, drive off with it, and kill this man? And then it's like, oh my God, these poor kids, and you want to have sympathy. Like, yo, my first thing, if I was the heathen person's parents, yo, why the fuck are your kids like that? You have to press the parents because, like, yo, did you not give your kids any home training? So my bad to like be long-winded about it, but in all, you can't always you have to look at where it all starts. And it starts with the parents. And our parents from young, which what I'm seeing now, with at least when I grew up, my parents, my mother, father, they didn't play that shit. They put me in my place. But what I'm seeing now is that parents don't care about taking care of kids. They just sit there and complain about why is the kid like this? Why is the kid like this? Because you're not training them. You're not doing nothing with them. You're not putting them in your place. Why is it that a 2-year-old child or a 4-year-old child feels the need to scream at you like they're a grown-ass adult? They eye you down like, yo, brother, literally, my niece is like, probably here, eyeing you down like a grown-ass fucking person. I'm like, listen, me and you's not the same fucking age. Watch yourself. Why do they feel so comfortable doing that? Because you're not instilling nothing in them. You're not instilling fear. Like the scriptures say, spare not the rod. I believe it also says in Sirach, the 30th chapter goes into beating the child often, if I'm not mistaken.
Just got a quick precept to back up what the brother's going into. Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So, like the brothers were saying, it's not always Esau to blame. Most High sees everything. So, when you're not upbringing a kid, right? You're going against the scripts. You're going against how we're supposed to conduct ourselves as Israel. We really need to get everybody in order. And I mean, not everybody's going to get in order. That's why the Most High got to send to come back, get everything right, build that structure.
Right. The precept here. There's a book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right. So I just want to make a point because Eddie Griffin made a joke. He used to say his mother beat him so bad that one time he wanted to do something bad, when he was about to do something, he felt like the pain right there was like, let me not do it. And then he pulled back. Why? Because you have to beat your kid. You have to put fear in them. Because kids' mind don't work where it's like, if you just tell them, oh, hey, don't do that, and they're just supposed to listen. We're not in the kingdom. Their minds wonder, like, what is this? Especially if it's something shiny. They're going to be like, what the fuck is this? Their mind, that's how their minds wonder. So you have to put in their mind, don't touch that, and you have to beat them. And when you beat them, like, okay, let me not touch that because I don't want to feel no pain. Let me back off. And then when you correct them on not speaking at people a certain way, know how to talk to adults, they're not going to go out in the world and talk to people a certain way. Why do you think I'm so, well, brothers know me, but if you know me, why do you think I'm so fucking quiet and I'm so respectful? Because my parents put it in me at a young age. Watch yourself. Don't be joking with everybody. My father always used to tell me these things. Don't make jokes with everybody because some people can't take jokes. You never know, this person might get crazy and then want to, beat you up or whatever, or kill you or something like that. Watch yourself, people. People, you don't know what's going on up here. So when I heard these things as a young man, I took them and I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that. I'll die or get beat up. So I just took it. And what? That's why that's the way I am. But some people don't put these things in their kid, and then their kid goes out in the world and does all these crazy ass shit, become murderers, killers, and it's always this, oh, my poor baby this, oh, my poor baby that. No, your kid deserves to fucking die because you produced a demon in the fucking world. Our people have produced monsters by not training the kids, and then wonder why they act like that. I heard this shit all my life. Why is black people like this? What's wrong with this? The parents are the fucking problem because you didn't do shit.
Right. So Rock 30:1, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
And that's going into who? Israel. Ultimately, the Lord is going to what? He's chastising us so he could have what? Joy in us at the end. Okay? But also it trickles down because just like the father's doing it with his children, we, the fathers, got to also do it with our children, man. That's why there's an example, But this society, as you can see, they're targeting the children. Why do you think that is? It's spiritual, and they're trying to do away with that spirituality. They're teaching kids at a very young age to not respect their elders, not have no reverence for their elders whatsoever, right? You can do whatever, you can say whatever, you can act whatever you want, right? They're licensing, all right? They're giving these children the ability to make decisions without their parents. Meanwhile, these are the same children that before they go to school, you say, if somebody comes and says, Mom said to pick you up from school today, you don't know them, Mom doesn't have best friends, so don't go with them. These are the same children that you're telling me that they have the right to transform. Children who need guidance are being told that they have the right to choose and do whatever the hell they want to do, man. Don't you see the satanic agenda that we're facing right now? But if you beat your children in this society, it's called what? Child abuse, man. So you have to find different ways to discipline your children. That's the point. Discipline. You could discipline children by whipping them, all right, putting them on punishment, right, putting them on timeout, whatever it is. But children need that discipline because, especially if it's a boy, they do certain negative reinforcement. That's right. Taking something away from them, And the children need that. That's why these young boys, they act up because they want that father figure to put them in check. They do dumbass shit just to test to see what's going to happen. And if you let it slide, what happens? Later on, they turn against you. Now you complaining, going to his uncle. Oh, I can't deal with this child no more. Oh, he's doing this. He's causing me this and that. Every day I'm fighting his case. I know he's a bad kid, but he's my kid.
So, And then this is why you also have kids that what? They murdered their fathers, they murdered their mothers. Why do they do something like that? We know it's a demon and judgment, but you have to ask yourself, it starts at home. Why would this kid murder someone out in the street? Why would they murder their own father, their own mother, sister, whoever? Why would they do those things? Yeah, we understand that it's the curses, judgment, and things like that, a demon, but you have to really think, why do they do these things? You have to go to the parents. What the fuck did you do with the kids? Did you not raise them? Did you not tell them not to do these type of things? But like you were saying in Esau, he's like, no, you can't beat the kids. Now, I remember seeing some crazy shit. I don't know if your brothers remember on Dr. Phil. Where's little eating my boy slapping the shit out of his mother, all that. I'm like, what the? I'm like, listen, that nigga was dead. He would be dead. He was talking. He was like this. Shut up! When I'm talking, I'm like, what? Let me do that to my mother. You would see the fucking just what they have in the Exorcist, the eyes going up in the city. Nigga, what did you do? Oh, shit. But that shows you the difference between us and they just all. But us, we're just like, listen, my nigga, you're not about to run me like you're a grown ass adult. I'm the fucking adult here.
Also wanted to make a point. Another issue is your environment. Like, the parents can only do so much once the kid gets exposed to a very wicked environment. Like, no one can save them from that. So you as a parent, you got to go extra hard and do everything you can, because once your children get exposed to the things in this world, you know, it's up to you how about Shemi, how shy, what they're gonna do with that spirit. You really can't help them past that. Once you get into these schools, I was in elementary school, you get exposed to everything once you're around other kids. And then those other kids have issues that they might have from their households and everything. And now you got a community of little demons in the school just creating, what do you call it? Creating a perpetual cycle of wicked ass kids growing up to be demons. And that's why having a community where everyone is in order is what creates a stronger society. So it can't just be your household that's strong. You know, your household is going to have mercy on certain people, but it has to be all of us. And that's why we can't do anything, right? We really can't do anything until he comes back. This place has to be a clean slate. It has to be wiped out. It's finished. It's done. This world is crazy today, man.
They got after school saving programs for children.
After school saving program, man. So they're gonna Esau is still gonna find a way, even though a lot of our parents do have issues and they're a cause of a lot of our traumas and the reason why we may go off sometimes. Esau created an environment to make all of this stuff so easy to do. You can't even discipline your kid a certain way now. Esau might hop in and take your kids from you. Now they're in a foster home. Who knows what those people are gonna do? And that's why when you go into the scriptures about the laws, it wasn't when somebody did something wrong in a society, when they would get executed, first it would be the person that did them wrong, and then everybody else would take a hand in that execution. So that's just to emphasize that point on having a society where everyone is in order.
I was gonna say, and that's a Edomite tendency, you know, to not discipline your children, because you see that a lot in this society. They'll have like you know, you might be in the store, you might see like a Edomite little girl, and then you know she might say, "Oh, mommy, I want this." The mom says, "Nah, you can't have it." So she just stops, starts throwing herself on the floor, screaming bad, loud as shit. Remember last time you shopping? You just want to go and just, you know what I'm saying? But the mother just standing there, stop, that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody gonna evacuate these two out of here because they don't discipline their children. But typically, when you go to like other countries, Jake countries, that's why Jake gets surprised when they see stuff. What's going on here? But when you come to America, that's when they tell you, no, you can't touch them. You touch them is this. If you do this to them is this. No, listen, man. You think twice about if your parent really loves you or not, based on how hard they discipline your ass. You know, so certain things when you grow up, you wouldn't ever even imagine, like, let me hit my mom, like some shit like that. You know, you never imagine to do something like that, because from a child, you ever wonder why when children grow up, they still fear their parents, you know, because your mother might be shorter than you, she may be smaller than you now, your pop may be taller and bigger than your pops, but you fear to raise your hand against your pops, because from a youth that's been instilled in you. You know, that fear. There's certain things that people get to a certain age and they're like, I hope my parents don't find out. You know what I'm saying? Because even the way you speak to them. You know, because that's that respect and that fear, and that's Israelite. Let me call it. It's an Israelite culture. All right, within the nation of Israel, that's how we're brought up, to be disciplined. But here they tell you, no, freedom, do this, do that, and that shows you, like our role was saying, that this is a cancerous society. And that's why this man's gotta go.
God, you be walking in public, you see a mother. You know, that's one way to tell if she a Jake or not. You see a so-called white woman or children, you know, and she carrying them just like a Jake mother. She probably got like 3-4 children. She's trying to hold one behind in the front, behind, one sitting in the cart, and then the other one who can walk is over there touching everything. I said, stop it. And you be looking at, you just stop it. Sometimes I just look at him and I'm like, is she a chick? You know, just the way she's moving. You know, stop it, put it down. And she don't care who's watching. Jake don't care. They make a scene and they don't give a shit. You know? But Edomites, they'd be like, hey, be quiet, stop doing that. I told you stop. And the kid is doing the whole thing.
You know, Timmy and shit.
Yeah. And you'd be like, yo, where your pops at, man? I mean, damn. You know?
Try that shit in the kingdom, man. See what happens. Go come with a fiery whip. Yeah. Right when you turn around, no ass.
Yeah, man. I'm not, you gonna say something?
Brother, for y'all, it's the Proverbs 13 and 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastiseth him 3 times.
So what does that mean to spare the rod? Meaning that the rod is a stick, all right? And you use that stick to beat your child.
When they do.
Yeah. You don't just get up and eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. Beat your child and shit. No. But your rod, the rod is what you use to correct the child. Because just like you have a rod or a bow that you use to correct a ox or whatever, wherever it's going, technically you're supposed to drive your child in the way that they're supposed to go. And eventually, because a child is like a blank piece of paper, you know. If you don't put something on it, somebody else is gonna put something on it, you know. And that's either gonna be from school, you know, it's gonna be from the TV, it's gonna be from social media, the games, whatever. So you got to make sure that you are attentive in your child's life, and when they go up, you discipline them. Now, like you said, you can't necessarily, you know, beat them to a certain extent. So you got to find other means that are also effective. See, they'll remember the pain of you hitting them, but they'll also remember the pain of you taking away their console. You know, and now they sitting here because see, when you whoop your child's ass, right? The pain, you know, is temporary, it lasts for a moment, then they all right, cool. But when you take away their console for a good 2 weeks, they sitting there, maybe they finish their homework, it's on a weekend, and now they just hit. That shit hurts. It hurts a lot. You're grounded, you know what I'm saying? You can't watch TV, you can't have nothing. You eat vegetables all night, you know what I'm saying? You bad as hell. Go to sleep early.
Have your phone.
Yeah, so now you like, even if I stayed up late, I can't do nothing. You might have met a bad shorty, as you know, you got her number. Just wait, just as soon as you got her number, your phone got taken away. Now you even more hurt. You know, so you gotta think around and think about more, you know, modern ways to still discipline your child. You know, so that's why it says, read that again.
Proverbs 13 and 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son.
Yeah, because people in this society, they think that when you don't beat your child that's love. That's not love. All right, love. Somebody could be most of the time you find out people that are really like, they may come off as like mean, you know what I'm saying? But when you look at them, they really got a good heart because they're the type that are actually help you out. And then you got people that are always smiling in your face, yada yada. You know, but going back to the point that the brother made, if you don't discipline your child, you don't love your child. America has redefined what love actually means. And they told you that hate is love. And love is hate. That's why when we come out here, what do they call it? Hate. But if we hated you, why would we warn you about the destruction to come? If we hated you, why would we tell you that if you don't stop committing this wickedness, you're gonna be destroyed? If we hated you, we say, yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead, do as much as you want, and you're gonna be A-OK. Because we know what's really gonna happen to you.
And ultimately, as a man of the Lord, or at least an Israelite man, the best way to bring up your child is by teaching them the scriptures, man. At a very young age, you got to start grooming them in the script. That's what our father did. Remember, he used to tell us, the Bible stories. He used to teach us precepts. You had to know it by heart. Psalm 23, you know the whole thing by heart. The Lord's Prayer, you know it by heart. Psalm 19, you know the whole thing by heart. And we used to go to Sunday school, and we were like the 2 sharpest in the school. Remember? Every time,
because they had a rod,
yeah,
that they would actually whoop your ass with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll ask, and we always come up with these different precepts that even the teachers would be sitting there like, that's good, I like that. It became things that they're even teaching in school, man. And what happens with that is you learn the lessons of the life that's written in the scriptures.
Yeah.
Like King David, this is what he did. Okay, so then you start thinking, because as a child, you want to be the best of whatever situation there is. So if you're listening about King David and how humble he was, and you know he was a shepherd, you know the Lord used him to slay Goliath. Like, man, I want the Lord to use me to slay Goliath. You know, how am I going to slay Goliath? That's kind of dope. He had 5 stones, and you know that damn, like all these guys saw and his men were all scared, and this young little man just comes up who Goliath describes him as a stripling. You know, I this little kid, I could just wiggle you and you're done. But he's the one who slayed him. Like, damn, that's a crazy story. And then ultimately he becomes the king of Israel. I mean, wow, right? So all these different Daniel, you know, the lion's den. These are stories you tell your children. Nowadays, you try to tell a child this, they get spooked. What? He killed him and cut off his head? Oh my goodness! Like, what? He's a terrorist. You know?
Yeah.
These kids are used to watching freaking
I don't even know
cartoons.
what they
Yeah,
show.
like all kinds of like transform this and that. Like two dads, 2 moms, and shit. Like, what is this? You know? But here's a precept.
Real quick, I was gonna say, children, you know, children, they like you said, they look up. They always look up to things, right? Like they look at you, the parents, as superheroes and stuff. And you know, they'll always get these action figures, or you know, they'll get these comics, and they always want to be like this one person they like a lot. Goku, I want to be like Goku. I want to be like this guy, right? You know. Now, what you don't realize is that actually affects how they think, because your child, when he's in a certain situation, he got his little cape on, right? And he got his uniform on. He's imagining all different scenarios playing out, and what he's doing is he's acting like he's Goku in that scenario, right? What? Because in his mind, he's thinking, I've watched what he does, so that's what I want to imitate, right? What would Goku do in this situation? So now, if you replace Goku with Yahushai, and you know the protagonist in the scriptures, your child, he's gonna grow up because these are the stories he's exposed to. So now he's gonna say, "Wow, I really maybe he might gravitate towards you know one certain protagonist and say, well, I want to be like him." So now, even from a youth growing up, he's thinking in that situation, well, I want to be like Daniel. So what would Daniel do in this situation? And as they grow up, that actually they start to wise up a bit more, but that takes a bigger toll on them than they realize. You know, because the same way if they're into like some wild ass crazy ass show, and the character's always doing some outrageous things, right, or always cracking jokes and being a clown, what kind of child do you think? What kind of energy you think your child is going to take up? He's going to want to go be a class clown because I don't know. Omi the clown, you know what I'm saying? That's what he does. So when your child goes to school, he wants to be like Omi the clown. But if you instilling in him the doctrine of the Bible, the scriptures, when he grows up, now he's thinking of these things. And the more he grows, the more he can align with it. The more he gets understanding, then he start, so the scriptures are not foreign to him. You know, from when he was a child, they were just stories. But there were stories that are home. They're close to home. And as he grows older and older, this is something that's going to actually benefit him. But once again, he's watching two dads, and I don't freaking Ren and Stimpy, those two moles, you know, and all these things. And the parents they're so busy they don't observe what their child is looking at. The second you put a tablet in your child's hand and allow them to go on Instagram, you know, as they're scrolling past, imagine they show you in like certain shows or movies where they might brainwash somebody. And when they brainwash somebody, they'll have the person stuck and their eyes are open and they're just showing them so many different things at once. And you don't realize that when you're going like this on Instagram, that's pretty much what's going on. You're just seeing all these different things, nudity, memes, all inclusivity, alternative lifestyle. These are things that are just being programmed into your mind. And you notice how when you're doing this, 2 hours go by and you don't even notice. And you don't know why you're still scrolling. You're like, y'all gotta get off this. But yet 3 hours later, you still on it. There's sorcery behind that stuff right there.
Great point. Yeah, laying backing off what the brother said. That's why you should really, especially the younger they are, don't even give them no tablet, don't give them no phone. Let them go out into nature and play, learn about, going out to the park and simple shit that we did when we were young. Because like the brother said, when you give them that iPad or that phone, that's a portal for demons. So they're gonna sit there and that's why I don't give my seed a phone or an iPad, man. He doesn't know nothing about an iPad. Other children he sees them playing with it, he'll look at it for 2 seconds and just go and play. Because he's not interested in that, because that's not what we geared him towards. Well, you give him that because that's laziness as a parent. I don't want to teach him nothing. I don't want to read him nothing. I don't want to go into anything with him. I actually spend quality time. So I'm gonna just give him this iPad so I can go on Instagram myself and just scroll all day long, or do whatever kind of folly and bullshit you want to get into. It shouldn't have no damn iPad, phone, or none of that until they're like at least like in their teens, later teens, you know. But I got this other precept too. Sirach 30:2. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
So ultimately, what happens is your son is going to take over, all right, what his father is doing. A perfect example would be Tobit and Tobias. Okay, Tobit, the father was teaching his son Tobias the right way to be, how to be a man and so on and so forth.
I'm gonna read the next verse. Sirach 30:3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right. So while we teaching our seed the scriptures, think about it. Imagine from the age of 1 or 2 years old, knowing the names Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, calling on those names. You know the type of level you're going to be on, as opposed to just, even the understanding that we had of the scriptures growing up. Now we actually have the full understanding, so we can impart that to our seeds. And what's that doing? Grieving the enemy. So everything that Esau tried to do to take the man out of the house is because when we learn this truth, and when a man of the Lord comes into this understanding, we impart it to our seeds. That's grieving the enemy. That's grievous unto Esau, Edom. Because what's going to happen? Your son, he looks up to his father. He's going to want to be like you. He's going to want to, I want to study like daddy. I want to learn about the names Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh. I want to say the Lord's Prayer. Teach him the Hebrew. Imagine the level you be on, knowing that from the age 1 or 2 years old, knowing the names Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, knowing about what it is to have integrity, and not only teaching them, but speaking to them, but giving an example with how you walk, the life that you lead. All right, that you have a certain level of austerity with them. You're not always joking around with them all the damn time. Right? When you can joke with them at times, but most of the time you got to be serious and let them know, all right, you got to do this, what you've been up to, so on and so forth.
Like example would be like a lion. You have the male lion, and then you got the cubs. Now the male lion is going to train his cubs when they get to a certain age. They start playing with their father. The father may be laying there, and then you see him try to bite his tail, and then he knows what's going on, and he try to wag the tail around, and then he probably get cuff the kid a little bit. The cub try to act like he's biting him. The cub is biting, kicking, doing all that. He's training him. So when he gets older, he knows how to do the left hook, the right hook, how to roar. You hear them try to roar, and the father's gonna give him a little roar, and then he's gonna try to imitate it. Animals do these same things, and the same thing with the father and his children, man. Especially if they're boys, like I said. How do you think Yahushua at 12 years old was able to go to the temple and teach these older men? He was going into all kinds of different things, man. They would be full. And Joseph was doing his own thing, but the spirit of Yahushua was on a different type of level, man. That's why he was noticed. He's not an ordinary 12-year-old. And as a father, that's a beautiful thing to hear. You go to parent-teacher conference, and then all the teachers are singing praises of your child, man. That's a good feeling as a father, man. And then as your child grows, he sees it as, this is a character that my father's put in me. But guess what? I want to keep this character. So it keeps it upholds his standard of living. Because as a person, if somebody compliments you, meet somebody for the first time, man, you a good brother, your character, this and that. What happens naturally, you want to keep that image, you want to keep that character. Damn, like they spoke so well of me, I don't want to disappoint nobody. So I want to keep that character. And guess what happens? You stay being positive and you keep doing it, keep getting better and better. But it starts from within. You got to start somewhere. And that's where we go right back to the scriptures, man. The compass of life. Right. Okay. Right. Come.
Just to land back on what you're saying.
Go ahead, bro.
In terms of us being the model, we can't act like our children got to do this, that. We're not doing it. So in terms of us being the father and the model for our children, Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by thy way, when thou liest down, when thou risest up.
Teach them. Like the brother, another point the brother was going into about you kind of like sometimes I spar with my seed, like light jabs. You throw little light jabs at him, he'll get caught the first few times, but then he learns, okay, I gotta put my hands up. I gotta block. You know, you being playful, but you might throw a little something at him. Light, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying hammer him, but I'm saying, you throw a little, you just catch him real quick. Boom, boom. And then before you know it, he's like, okay, I get the game now. I gotta put my hands up. And that's the same thing when we teach him these scriptures. In the game of chess, the best way to play is to have an offensive move. Your defense is an offense as well. So you make a move, but it's also an offensive move, but it's also a guard to you. And that's just how it is teaching his word. It's a shield, it's a sword, it's everything we need to withstand the wiles of the devil. I got a little bit more on this to break it down.
Actually, since you said that, I'll say something real quick. I learned this from Michael Jai White. He knows how to fight and things like that, right? Now he says when you punch, right? You want to make sure when you punch, like an arrow, but at the same time when you punch, you want to make sure that your arm is also protecting this, because you're hitting them at the same time. But now look at the way my face is, my arm is. If they try to hit me, they can't. You see some people hit like this and their whole face is exposed. It's like, yo, you can't do that. You got to hit to where it's like this. So that way they can't see your face. So at the same time you're attacking, but you're also defending your face. Just to add on to this.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's why Mayweather's so nice, because you see his stance is so sick with it. All them blows that they throw at him, it just glances off of him. And then he's just hitting you with all. He ain't got to hit you that hard, but he's letting you know, like he's tagging you every single time. And before you know it, all them little tags that add up, eventually you all lumped up. And he's guarding himself. The reason why he's such a great fighter, why? Because his defense is impeccable. We have impeccable defense through the spirit of power. Yahweh Shem Shai.
Tyson.
I was gonna add on to that because if any brothers or anybody seen 300, when it was when Leonidas was training his son, he wasn't going easy on him. So when I think it was the Spartans, right? The Spartans, when they was bringing them up, they all trained the sons to be warriors and men. But the key thing was defense. And they had the shield, and if you couldn't hold up your shield correctly, you was dead weight, or they wouldn't put you in the military. So your offense is your defense is just as important as your offense. And that's all I just wanted to add.
Even in sports, specific sports, coaches always emphasize defense. And especially basketball, for example, coaches always say, look, if you come out here thinking you about to just shoot the ball all the time, you're going to be on the bench, bro. Or you're not even going to make a cut. You got to play defense. You have to move your feet, make sure your hands are where they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You got to shuffle. You got to communicate, all these different things. But they always say, what? Defense wins championships. Because you make a few stops, you always give yourself a chance to win. All it takes is a couple of shots. You make 2-3 shots, and you stop 2-3 shots. That's the game right there. So defense wins championships, and that's true. Some of them say, well, you're supposed to score. Yeah, but you're supposed to stop them from scoring. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways, man. But the point here is, as a father, you got to teach your children about what? The defense, which is this truth, man. That's the ultimate defense. You got to guard against your spirit first. If they can't touch your spirit, your body they can't touch your body either. Okay? They might be able to hit you to left and right, but guess what? It's the spirit that's going to keep you getting up again. Once your spirit is defeated, you're done. You're finished, man. And that's why a lot of men fall out, because their spirit is defeated. The Haushai isn't fighting for them, man. He's not keeping them, man. And that's a scary thing, man. That's very scary. The Lord is displeased with you, so he's not going to protect you. Oh, man.
Yeah, the Lord said that the spirit is defeat is willing, the flesh is weak. Then, the scripture that says that a wounded body, it says the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmities, but a wounded spirit, right, who can bear? Because, like you said, the spirit is the life force, it's the driving factor. Right? It's, once again, it's like getting into a car accident, and so long as the driver doesn't get harmed, you're okay. So get a new car, you're fine. Don't fix up your old car. But the second you get harmed, that's your spirit. Once the actual driver gets harmed, that's where the real problem is. You know, and so hey, like you were saying, that's why it's important to always have that spirit be sharp, because there's times when you may think I should do a video, and then I feel so tired. But then you start meditating on certain things, and next thing you know, the tiredness falls to the back seat. Yeah. Well, what do you think is causing that? Where do you think that drive is coming from? It's not coming from your flesh, right? When you fall into temptation and you resist that temptation, where do you think that power and energy is coming from? It's coming from the spirit, because your spirit, ultimately, the Lord, the spirit of the Lord is connected through our spirit. All right, whatever we do on the outside is just an extension of our spirit. All right, that's why your spirit is what like you said, you have to guard against whatever anything that can harm, weaken, or come against your spirit. And what's one of the best ways to sharpen your spirit? You got to pray, you got to fast, you got to read the scriptures. This is how you spiritually nourish yourself. Just like you eat physical food for your flesh, well, are you eating the spiritual food for your spirit? Right? Because remember, if your spirit is constantly at war with your flesh, but you constantly feeding your flesh, then you're really just giving your spirit a handicap. And that's not what you want. You want your flesh to be subject to your spirit. You want your spirit to have your flesh under subjection, like Paul said. All right? That way, whenever you encounter a situation where your spirit says, I want to do this, and your flesh says, I want to do this, your spirit says, no, I'm the one in charge right now. We do what I say we do. Upon command, because you got your body under subjection. You discipline yourself. But if you kept feeding your flesh, kept sowing into that, when the time comes when your spirit and your flesh have different ways to go, what way you think you're going to end up going? Your flesh is going to say, no, I'm going to drag your ass with me. And now you stuck here going off. You feel bad, but now you couldn't stop yourself. So it's very, very important that you guard your spirit, especially in these times when these demons are out. Because that's your life. That's what they're looking for.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, and verse 6. It says, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. It says, continuing, Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, right? Meaning in thy mind, right? And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest in by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Now, spiritual is we do that by nature. We do that instinctively. And it shows whenever we talk about anything, it always reverts back to something spiritual. You try to have just a straight, plain, carnal conversation with a brother. Just keep it carnal all the way. Nothing spiritual. It's impossible to do it. You can't. When you start talking about basketball, you go sports, you're gonna come back to the women, freestyling, rapping, whatever. If you start rapping, you know what I'm saying, rap battle, whatever, eventually you're gonna start throwing America's gonna be destroyed, he might throw in a change, you know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that whenever we and I'm telling you this brother's a witness. We actually tried this in high school. We said, look, we're gonna try not to talk about the spiritual stuff, and we just quiet because we can't think about anything else to talk about. We literally get quiet for a minute. I said, this shit ain't going nowhere. And we noticed that every time we start off, even if you try a petty argument, you talk about cars, women, people, teachers, classwork, homework. It all comes back to the scripture. So just like the brother just read over here, you're supposed to talk about it with your children. You're supposed to diligently teach it to them. When you leave, when you come back home, when you wake up, when you go to sleep. And like I said, that's how you know we're in the actual truth, because that's what we do by nature. And remember how that before we go to sleep, all right, you tell a story, a Bible story, and then you teach us to pray. And then sometimes you say, okay, you lead the prayer today, and then you pray, and then, and how do we normally pray? We pray based on how he used to pray. He used to pray, right? Before you eat, you say, okay, you say the prayer, you bless the food, so then you start to step into it. Like at first you get nervous, right? But sooner or later you step into it and you become bold in the spirit.
You know, like Eli taught Samuel how to respond when he hears the name of when the Most High calls upon his name. You see, because the first 2, 3 times it happened, he went back to Eli and said, "Did you call me?" And Eli said, "No, go back and sleep. I haven't called you." And then the third time he said, when it comes again, answer and say, go hear me. I am here, Yahweh Shemi Haushad. Okay? And then that's when you start. So you gotta learn, you gotta teach your children how to understand what the spirit is about because they're Israelites. At some point, if they're coming from a righteous man's seed, at some point the Lord is going to go to them, man. If they're brought up in the right way. You know, at some point, so they have to receive that. They have to learn to come to resolution, life switches, sound judgment, you know. So when the kids remember, even you sleep, so God tells you, somebody else said, right? In the morning you wake up, you do scriptures, you know, and then you say a prayer and then you start praying, you know, and that's how you build your confidence and then speak to the Lord. You know, and as time goes on, you get more confident, to the point where anything you need from now on, you that you're comfortable confident that you go to speak to. You know, you teach them like just like how you want to be, I speak to me, you speak to them the same shit. You know, just you know, teach them everything, right? Listen, just like the scripture says, right? And then what's gonna happen after that? That's the lessons. Because all these things that you can be teaching your children, right? What's gonna happen is we're going to read right now. So Rock 30 and verse 4. Oh, his father died. So Rock 30 and 3. He didn't teach him his son. Grieveth the enemy. And before his friends, he shall rejoice of them. Right? So he's grieving the enemy because the enemy is looking for the weak spot. You know, if you're an Israelite, you don't know your brothers. Right? That's your downfall right there. Because that means you don't really know the will of the heavenly Father. And that's what's going to lead to salvation. No matter what it is. And if you know the judgments of the Lord, you will escape every single thing that you know about. Because that's the path. That's the purpose of prayer. So as you pray, let go. Right? So it's very important. So you agree with the enemy when you teach your children about the things that they're supposed to prosper, which is building up their spirits. But you know, because the world teaches them about mortality and wickedness. So you have to combat that with what righteousness is and spirituality. You know? So go ahead on that. Oh, his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead. Oh, there you go. So guess what? You have a perfect representation of somebody who's going to take the building in your stead. You know? That's why the parents, the father passes down his inheritance to his firstborn child. You know? When you look at Jacob and his 12 sons, what happened? He passed on his inheritance, man. You know? He gave it all his inheritance, starting with Judah. Okay? But when you go down the line, everyone messes up the list. You know? And all those men are what we have now as the statues that we have as the 12 tribes of Israel coming from one man. So you could say that Israel did a great job. Bringing up his children the right way, he did a great job because now we have the 12 tribes. Yes, man. You read it, man. But that goes to show you that at the end of the day, you know, prophets will be still better. You know, there's the human aspect to it because yeah, when you read book of Genesis about how the brothers were, man, they were, you know what I'm saying? You be like, yo, it's so easy, right? Talking about lying on killing your brother, you know? Yeah, lying to your brother, and they were, man, they were real good at it, you know? Yeah, scheming. You know, they look at this dreamer come, right? You know, all right, so let's kill his ass and put it into his dreams. Yeah, you see come up with those dreams. And you think about it like to be able to actually think, yo, I'm actually killed by it when they had sold when he sold Joseph, that was it. They weren't going there, so they like you were going down over there, came in with his feet, getting wise, you know what I'm saying? Just going about like that, that's cool. You know, up until they ended up in Egypt, you know, then it came back on them again. But it goes to show you once again that human element of it, although there's the spiritual aspect of it, you know. But at the end of the day, man, that even goes to show you the power of washing down shot. Because you say, well, Lord, like, why these? You know what I'm saying? Why these men? Why these men right here?
like or not, he elect because the Lord saw how good they were and said, I want these to be elect. He literally just picked them. You know, literally said, look, these are going to be the elect. And just as easily as he said, well, you want to know? He could have said, just as easily as he said, you would be an Israelite, but say you would be an Israelite, even worse. You know, and that's the scary thing like that. You know, not only did you make us Israelites, but you gave us a for men and the body of the elect. You know, so there's a chance that we standing here could be a part of the most important men that would ever created. Rock 30 and 4, but he had left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Right? That's a perfect. So, you know, it's going to apply his sons back. All right, told him exactly. He gave him roles. He said, you must go be this. Everybody listening, everybody comes forward. Son, you take care of this. You know, and that's how he was able to distribute the responsibilities. And so when he passed, he was children. You know, because he knew that he had given his everything back to what responsible meant. Because what they were brought up to the right place. You know, so David did what he had to do. He said yes. You know, on certain specific men. And guess what? Some has carry out. If he was weak or he was weak, he would have been like, man, I don't know. You know, and what's going to happen? You're going to bring a whole lot of wickedness in this. Just like the kings who called tried to do, because they didn't follow after their father. You know, and constantly he think he will decide. How many times have you heard that scripture? You know, and then you hear he did right and decided to go. But when the world was spent at this time, when things are written, and in the kingdom we're talking about it, the Lord said, oh man, these are the men who did right this time. You know, that's the reputation that we're going to carry on this side going into the kingdom, man. You know, because that's what that matters. That's all that matters. All right. So that's why Yahweh Shai said that Yahweh himself had it said, this is my will. Yahweh Shai, when he was on the scene at that time, he did everything to the T what his father told him to do. You know, and that as a parent, that gives you good a pleasure into your child. You know, you can have a child based off of a seed, but even when you go to John the 8th chapter, I think we were speaking about that last week. We go to John the 8th chapter. It talks about Yahweh Shai said that I know you're of Abraham's seed, but if you were of his, if you was your father, you would do the things that he told you to do. Because you can have somebody as your seed as you know coming out of his sack, but the real is that a father has for his son is in his actions. It says it's really in his actions, man. I guess yeah, it's in your actions. It's how you conducting yourself. You know, that's what your dad. That's what gives your dad having pride in him, in your son. A quick precept. This is Proverbs 1. Verse 8, it says, my son, hear my instructions, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and the chains about thy neck. You know, so it's about the instructions that you are taking from your father that gives your father that pleasure that he has in you. Because even when, you know, let's say somebody, your child does something, you say, well, that's my son, that's my boy, like you're proud of him. You don't really say it because they look like you. And that's why Yahweh Shai was saying to Thomas, when Thomas asked him, I believe it was Thomas, he was like, show us the father. And he was like, how long have Philip? Like, you're Philip. Like, how long have you been with me? If you see me, you see the Father. It's not because the physical feature, more so rather than the spiritual. I'm coming in the stead of my Father. I'm doing my Father's will, my Father's will. So everything that I'm doing, you know that it's coming directly from Him. That's why He said everything that I have heard from my Father, I have given unto you. Yeah.
And that goes back into that Ecclesiastes, the 30th chapter, where it talks about a revenger, of your father. That's who Yahweh Shai really is. Because Yahweh Shai is coming to get revenge on his enemies, but his enemies are his father's enemies.
Exodus 23:20. Behold, I sent an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he would not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him.
Yo, man, my name is in him. And that's why Yahweh Shai came once again to do everything that the Heavenly Father told him to do. If we say like in jest growing up, like, are you my son? Even with Paul and Timothy, Paul didn't really have birth Timothy, but he called him what? My beloved son in the truth. My son that I begat in the truth. Because you're going to, I put my instructions in you, and I have trust that you're going to fulfill my instructions because I raised you up. Raise up a child in the way that he should go, and when he gets old, he shall not depart from it. And that's what really grieves Esau, because majority of the people out here in the world, they're, as Yahweh said, you have your father the devil. So a lot of Jake is actually the sons of Esau, man. Because what is in their minds? What is the way that they conduct themselves? They're not conducting themselves in the ways of Yasharallah, Prince of the Power. They conducting their ways in the Prince of the Power of the air, man. That's the God of this world.
22nd verse. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Why? Because ultimately you're following after the Father, and the Father's enemies if you're following after the ways of the Lord, and in this world is against the Lord, then those people that are against the Lord are going to become your enemies naturally. And that's why the Lord said it, blessed are ye when men shall hate you and revive you for my name's sake. It's not because of really us, it's because the spirit that we're in is not of this world. We're in the spirit of our Father. So in this world, as Yahweh Shai said, if this world hates you, know that it hated me first. It hated me first because ultimately they hate the Heavenly Father. They hate his love. I believe that's in Psalm 50th chapter. It says what? Thou hatest my instructions. Speaking about Esau. And everything that you see in the world, it goes against the instructions of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahweh Shai. So if you are a friend of this world, then what? The love of the Father is not in you. You are in a disappointment. Speaking to Israel, you are a disappointment to your Father if you are a friend of this world, if you love this world. And it's not worse to be a disappointment to your Father, man. That's a very very hard pill to swallow. When your Father's disappointed in you, especially if you had a good father. You had a father that was there for you and did everything for you, and you disappointed. That means you really ain't shit.
The only way that cannot be the case if it's the truth.
Right, that's it. Yeah, because ultimately the Father spirits. That's what we try to please. But on carnal level,
Our fathers could be disappointed.
yeah.
It don't matter.
Right. So what did the Lord tell his earthly parents? I gotta be about my Father's business. So it's bigger than But that's the battle that we gotta have. Because everybody that came into the truth, every man that came into the truth, if you have parents, because some brothers don't have their parents around. But if your parents was around, they were disappointed in you. If they were not in the truth, they were disappointed in you taking the step. But that's because they're of their father, the devil.
Oh, yeah, I just want to make a point. I've been holding it for like 5 minutes now, but just back on the precept that he brought up. So can I bring it out real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is because you said something. This is Sirach, back in Sirach chapter 30, verse 4. It says, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind. For he had left one behind him that is like himself. So, like you just said, right? If you have a good father, right, your father's gonna make you in his image. You're gonna be like your father. But let's look at the negative side of that. Let's look at if you have a piece of shit father. Why do you think, like I was bringing up earlier, why do you think a lot of kids are the way they are? Because they have what I like to call personally, you don't have in this generation fathers and mothers. You don't have husbands and wives. What you have is males and females. Pretty much people that just only know how to reproduce. A nigga that only knows how to go out in the world and fuck as many women as possible. A woman that only knows how to be like the scripture say, her legs is like an open quiver and receive every rod out there. They're not mothers, they're not fathers, they don't know how to instruct somebody, they don't know how to do anything. You have women on Instagram saying I'm a mother. No, you're a female that just had a fucking child. That's all. You're not a mother. In order to take care of a child, you have to nurture the child. You have to take care of it. You have to watch over it. What is like the husband? What does the husband mean? If I'm not mistaken, husband means a planter, a farmer. What do you do with, as a farmer? You watch over the land. You watch the land. You take care of it. You don't just leave it. All right, nigga, I'm off. No, you watch over the land. You make sure that the land is good. That's what you would do with your household, your family. Now, like the woman, which is the earth, the woman takes care of the seed and brings up the seed for the farmer. That's what a woman is supposed to do. You don't have that here in this world. You don't have a husband that's taking care of his household. You don't have a woman that's nurturing and taking care of the kids. You have just a woman that's just open her legs to every man, and a man that's just out there doing nigga shit. So that's just the left hand side of it, where you have a righteous man. He's gonna make sure he watches over his family and raises up the mother, the son, the daughter. But on the left hand side, you just have a male that always gonna teach the son how to do is just be in the world and just go out there. Like I remember I used to hear, yo, go out there and make sure you get these girls, do your thing with them. You're just making me to be more like you. Just go out there and do a whole bunch of debauchery and foolishness. And then our people, like I was saying earlier, complain about the same thing. Oh, why are we like this? Because you raised us to be fucking like this. And then you fucking complain about it. And it's the same shit. I was meditating about this shit for like an hour last night. This is the same shit that Israel always complains about. Why are we like this? What? And when you read the script, it's like Jeremiah. All the prophets, like, my nigga, you are the fucking reason why we're like this, because you don't like to listen. You're hard-headed. You're stiff-necked, and you think you know every fucking thing. And then when trouble comes, it's, oh, Lord, why? Motherfucker, we told you why, and you didn't listen. This is why, because it starts with the parents. It always starts, you have to find the foundation. To build anything, you have to start the foundation. It starts at home. It starts with the parents. Why are kids like this? It's the parents. It's always the parents. Yes, the curses, but what? If you know the curses, you can, like the brothers are saying, you can kind of not work around the curses, but you can try to train your child the right way. Yeah, to the best of your ability. And if the Lord said, I don't be easy on you, I see you trying. You're trying to do right. He's not going to just keep it on you like his foot's on your neck.
Remember, we all are individual persons. We all are individual persons. So, like, each person can have, like, Lord have mercy. Like, you can say, I have mercy, and compassion, I have mercy. So, that a certain Israelite man is doing this thing, he's going to be merciful. He's going to do certain things for him that I mean, he won't do for certain things. That's the whole point of him being a father. You treat your child accordingly for all children. So, like, we all know what to do to what's right. That's what we got to do. There's really no other codes. And that's where our people go straight, because really we here under Esau's rule, so everybody's going to weigh Esau's like the father of the devil. And the Jakes that was scattered around the other heathen, they kind of sound like the Elamite or Hamite or whatever. That's the whole point. That's why our Lord said he's going to gather the back. Jeremiah 20, he said Jeremiah 29, Jeremiah 29, 14, which he's going to gather from all the nations. That's what we're here. We're gathering. We're part of the gathering group right now. We're trying to gather. We're hoping to be part of the gathering. We ain't out here just for just fun. Hell no, man.
Sorry, can I say a little bit more? Yeah, I just wanted to say this is why I'm heading a little bit home, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want family members to see it. Like, why are you putting all that information out there? But why do you think you have certain daughters out there that may be a certain age, right? Let's say they're like, I'm really hitting home here, but let's say they're like 30, right, or 40. Why is it that they're acting like they're in their 20s? Can you answer me that? Why is, because you got to think about it. And people will sit there and say, oh, well, they went to school, this and that, they was in the world. But hold on. They went to school, they was doing the things in the world, they got all their degrees and everything. But why is it that a woman who's in her 30s, 40s, Shamyar even did a video, with, he named it Brands with the Yams. He had some old lady with two basketballs behind. And basically, why is it that she looked like she's in her 60s? Why is it that 60-year-old woman like that is acting like a 20-year-old? You gotta ask yourself, how was she raised? How was she acting like that? It all starts with the parents. It all starts with why people don't like to raise their kids. They don't want to go back. Like brother like to bring it up with the scriptures. They don't want to teach their kids according to the scriptures. They want to go the opposite of them. And everything that we've done opposite of the scriptures has not worked. It's only made us worse and worse and worse. Like I was saying earlier, this is why we're getting murdered. Kids that do this with crazy as shit. They like, why is he doing this? Oh my God, what's up? Fucking chocolate this.
Man, Esau profits off this. And he actually perpetuates it in the system. When you look at single family houses, the benefits that women get for not having their man in the household. You know, the time that they give Jake's for doing a petty crime because they give to an Edomite doing the same thing. They do all that to destroy the household because they know that in order to have a nation, you got to start with the family. You know, it starts with family, and the family builds a larger family, and the larger family builds a nation. The nation of Israel is really a family of families, a nation of people. So what Esau did is, and that's how you destroy a nation. Well, you divide and conquer. So it's divide and conquer. That's why even in the scriptures, people always take over the nation. We will kill the man. They didn't take the women because we really are just going to be a follower of the man. The man is going to have the instruction to build up, the children in a certain way. So, but that's why Esau, when he came into slavery, he divided the parents, he divided the nations, divided the families, sent the father this way, sent the mother that way, might have sent it with the children, might have sent one child that way, they sent another child this way. And then over time, that just became a norm to the point where now Jake don't even think he needs to even have the family structure. You have women that think, I can just, they praise being a single mother, not realizing the detriment that is due to themselves. They more capable, more chaotic, more depressed, more anxiety, and then you are producing children with all of that negative emotions, and you're raising those children up to have all those negative emotions, whether it be the female, which if the female have those emotions, they grow up to be what, whores, and then if it's a male, he grows up to be what, in the drug, game banger, murderer, or sodomite.
So it's just males producing other males and females bringing up. It's not, you're not raising up young children, not raising up that future husbands, future wives. You're just raising up monsters. I believe the scriptures speak about what the system raising children. What type of, this is the devil system. So what type of kids are those? I got a precept, Ezekiel 16, verse 1. Desire not the multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons. Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them. And that's it. No, actually, maybe a little before. Trust not in their life, neither respect their multitude. For one that is just is better than 1,000, and better is it to die without children than to have them that are ungodly.
And a perfect example was David and Amnon. All right, he had when Amnon had laid with Tamar, Absalom's sister, and David was pissed. So ultimately, when Absalom killed him, he was pleased, man. He was comforted. He's like, "You finally comforted me, man," because he went off, man. So David then have pleasure in an ungodly son, So throughout the scriptures, you keep seeing the same thing over and over again, man. That's why Romans 15:4 is written. That everything written aforetime was written for our learning. That we through what patience and comfort of the scripture might have faith. So it's daily, man, daily, every single day. You're building yourself up and building your children up, man. But whoever might be around you that looks at you as a bigger brother or a father figure, whatever it might be.
And it's interesting because a lot of brothers in the truth, brothers know that it's not that we don't want children, it's just that we know it's not expedient to have children here, and it's not because brothers don't like kids, because brothers love children, love kids, man. But it's just that the way that that child is going to be growing up here, even though we have the knowledge, it's just like we don't have the power to instill that in them, because at any moment their mother can become a demon and take that child away, and then now, or let's say she's not even a demon, but let's say she doesn't want to be with you anymore. It's not like in the scriptures that child's supposed to come with you. In this world, it's the opposite. So now that child is being raised by a woman. Now let's say she's not even a demon, but she's in the world. She's being raised by. You in the world, you're a demon, but there's levels to it, right? But you raised in the world, your child is being raised by a worldly woman. Now that child's going to learn Christmas. They want to learn Easter. You know, they want to learn the things, the ideologies of this world, and ultimately that's going to pollute your child. Because you, whatever time period that you have with your child, now that child is like learning the truth, but it's like, what are they being more around? They're more around the things of this world, the wickedness of this world. The schooling, yep, that's another ideology, dogma that's being teaching our children the wrong things. So it's like, really, all we have to do, only thing we can do is just pray that the Lord has mercy, man, and really pray for the Lord to shorten the days, because as the Lord said, if He did shorten the days, there will be no flesh saved. Even if we have children and brothers have children in the truth, it's very hard to raise, and that's why even us being in the truth is a mercy, because our parents didn't raise us in the truth. You know what I mean? You know, in the ancient world, our children, we were raised in the truth, and then you made the decision to go away from that. But now it's like, it's the opposite. You were raised in the world, and the Lord got to have mercy to bring you into the fold. So it's like, you having that, and then trying to be in this worst case scenario in Babylon the Great. It's like, you don't want to bring no seed. You don't want to, because when you have a seed, you're replicating yourself. You don't want to replicate yourself in this society. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to bring another one of you here?
Book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me. Again, just laying back to all the points that the brother was making. That woe is destruction to rebellious children. We got this, particularly in Israel, that you as God Spirit, we got that and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Again, the spirit is in this book from Yahweh Shem Shah. We want to, again, do what we want to do, our lust, whatever Esau, we think Esau got the power, just like Egypt. When we went back into Egypt and, basically we wanted to please them. We want to please Esau, Edom as we go through this world. That they may add sin to sin. That's what we're doing.
What's the wages of sin?
Good point, yeah, because another thing I wanted to make a point on was the honoring your father and mother thing, right? Honoring your father and mother doesn't mean they tell you to do something and you just do whatever they say. Because a lot of our parents, most of our parents are all wicked. So if they tell you to go to church, I gotta honor my parents, I'm gonna go to church. No. The best way to honor your parents is to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, whether they like it or not. That's the best way to honor them. Just like if we have seeds and they serve the Lord, that would be them honoring us. Now you respect them, of course, but you can't just, just to give a little bit of understanding on honoring our parents and how the real way to do it, because they don't agree with what we're doing. Does that mean we're dishonoring them? No. The way to honor them is to continue to do this, even though they don't understand it,
And, it's really just about balance. A lot of Jakes don't understand balance in the truth. There's a lot of situations where you just got to be able to use some discernment and know when to apply what, how much of it to apply, and so on and so forth. Like you said, you might say, okay, I'm honoring you. Father doesn't mean mom said eat this pork, he goes, yeah, eat it, right? Or she says, I don't know, do the dishes. I ain't gotta do that. I'm serving the Lord. You know what I mean? So it's about knowing when and how to apply it. The other Yahoo did a video maybe like a week or two ago, dealing with not being aligned in your own house, where you got, he was saying like, yo, you might have a woman, she might be okay, but you hear a video of a brother or elder or an apostle going in on women, then all of a sudden turn around and look at your woman with an evil eye, like you know what I'm saying? She ain't do nothing wrong. She does what she regularly does, but all of a sudden, women are demons, so she's a demon now. You know what I'm saying?
The father would just come over. You saw the
yeah.
Smack
Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus.
That's what I was thinking.
Just came in just smack him for no reason.
Being a straight brute.
Being a brute. Yeah.
Sorry. If I may add on to your point about the honor that father and mother, really, as far as like your father and mother and as well as this world, I say my layman's terms, basically do anything within means that doesn't have you go against the Lord. That's really all you can do. Because it's really not like you say, your mother tell you, can you give me some, I think, crab legs? You'll be like, nah. I mean, like, if you say no, the Lord's not gonna let you like you dishonored your mother because you're actually stopping her from going on. If you get this parallel, it's like you're enabling sin, and that's one thing. Like, that's why like it's good to just stay away from sometimes teaching the world, even with family, because they'll have you trying to cross that line just to see if you would.
They play on your emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
In Luke 14 it says, any man come to me and hate not his father and his mother, so that tell you right there. That's what's gonna happen.
That's another thing that can stir up a lot of worms. And you hear that, oh, you hit your father, hit your mother. Nah. They don't mean that.
Their wicked ways.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of it because you got, once again, Jake, they'll see that word hate, and all of a sudden they thinking, I know I gotta hate my parents. You know? Yeah, that's you gotta hate your, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to attack your parents and shit. Like, obviously, the Lord is not talking about hating your parents. How are you supposed to honor your father and mother, but you're supposed to turn around and hate them? You know, and Jake, no, but the scriptures are contradicting itself. No, it's not. You know, you respect them and you honor them. But what it means by hate them, it just means that you're not supposed to. Another precept for that is he that loveth mother and father more than me. It's not worthy of me. Yeah, exactly. You're not supposed to prioritize them or anyone in this world above the Lord. You know, it's really all a balance. You know, but once again, that's the thing is, these are certain traits that you learn, you're supposed to learn when you're a child growing up. And you know, a lot of adults in America never really had a childhood. And what I mean by that is not that they weren't children, but they just weren't allowed to be kids and make those stupid, childish, curious mistakes that you learn from. And that's why that you got corrected from right by. And so when they grow up, you see them having these childish tendencies. And you're wondering, why you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and 50s, you know, and you're acting like a little child. And you wonder why. This is something that I used to do when I was about 6, 7 years old, thinking I was slick. You know, and you see a grown individual doing this. But that's hey, in the book of Exodus it says what? After they done committed that heavy idolatry, they rose up to play. Grown ass men and women doing wickedness, rising up to play.
Sick.
Building golden calves, you know. Now I put a video up of these he got a Superman and a grown man dressed in a Superman outfit and a Batman outfit, and some big black Jake just come out the bus throwing this nigga like it's WrestleMania, you know. This black, you know what I'm saying? He's running and shit, and I'm like, yo, what's wrong with Jake, man?
Another thing I was going to say is, and back to Chapter 17, you know, we can't be overly righteous to our parents and friends in the world and stuff like that, and like how they say holy it down. You know what I mean? We have to be balanced with them. You know, they still eat pork and, you know, serving Jesus, whatever. That's on them. You know what I mean? So, you know, going to Thanksgiving. I mean, we all like we didn't flip the tables over, but when we first came to the church, we was rebuking trying to rebuke our parents, but in love. You know, it was never. See, the thing about rebuke, you rebuke is for correction, and the correction is for love. You know, because even the scripture here, I got Hebrews chapter 12, verse Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. It says, "Have ye forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children? My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?" And that's the thing, man. You know, you're going to chastise, you're going to rebuke your child for correction. You know, Paul spoke about the scriptures is for what? Rebuke, reprove, for correction, you know, to make the a man of the Most High perfect, you know. And that's what, even when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, man, he was always rebuking, especially starting with Peter, rebuking the disciples. And a lot of times the disciples refer to Yahweh Shai as father, you know, because that's what I mean, he is our father, you know, carnal sense, Adam, but, you know, even on a spiritual sense, he was teaching Israel, he was teaching the disciples how to conduct themselves. And that's what a father does, you know, and you do that on both sides, whether or not you have a father that doesn't know it. If your child is watching, you know, I remember my mom told me that before, like, you got to be really careful because your son, he's watching everything you do. And that's why you have a lot of children of like deadbeats, or not even just deadbeats, or like children that are fathers are like drug bangers, gang bangers, whatever. They grow up to be like that because that's the only image they have of what a father is. So what happened? So that's why it's very important on how to conduct yourself. And that's why when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, he was always conducting himself about his father's business, and he left that mindset with the disciples, and passing it down to now. It's that same spirit. Yahweh Shai said, "What? I'll be with you always, even to the end of the world." So that's why you got men in this time right now that are still in that same mindset, because Lord willing, we are those men that was back then. We seen the example that Yahweh Shai gave us. So nothing comes before the Father's business, because that's the example that Yahweh Shai gave us.
Also, remember too, when you're going through that chastisement and the punishment, all right, you always got to keep praying to the Lord, man. So, Lord, even though I know you're putting this on me, I pray that you give me the strength to keep going. Keep me, in the spirit of faith. Don't, the scripture says that he's not going to give you too much that you can't bear. So whatever it is that you're going through, it's been measured according to your faith, according to what kind of spirit you have. You can't look at another brother's chastisement and let that break you down, or whatever. If anything, it should make you, keep on going, because you're like, yo, it's either he's banking on my strength or I'm banking on his strength. But regardless, something is going on. It's a transfer of energy in a positive way. Meaning what? You're maintaining spiritually, man. You keep on enduring. Sometimes you get so beat down, man. You just like from all angles. Like this bill is up. You haven't got paid. It's financial. This car broke down. Rent is up. This all at once. And then you start questioning, Lord, how am I gonna work? I got like a week left. How am I gonna be able to make the money to pay for all these things all at once? But you maintain spiritually, keep on praying, and some way, somehow, the moment the day comes, Lord always comes through for you. How does that always happen? Because you don't give up. You keep going back to the Lord.
That the chastisement of the Lord. I remember, like, bro, I haven't done it, not in this generation, but I know, like, in the older generation, when a parent or a grandparent will chastise you or rebuke you, you always will thank them.
Right.
Like, something happened, thank you, mama, or thank you, father. And it's like that's because they instilled in you that what I'm saying to you is for your benefit. So that's why even in the truth, when we get chastised of the Lord, we always thank the Lord. How much, you do something really, like, real subtle. You hit your toe. Like, you think about something, like, how much you're gonna like, because it could be way worse. That whatever reason that you just went through that, it could be way worse, because that you're worthy of something way worse. So whenever the Lord puts you through something, you always got to thank him, because the Lord, as he says, who the Lord loveth, he's chastised. And a person that is of a wicked mind, like how Job's wife wanted to tell Job, curse God and die. He's like, why would I do that? The Lord is doing this for a reason. I'm serving the Lord. The Lord is doing this for a reason. So I'm not going to curse the most. I'm going to go seek him and beseech him more and find out why this is happening. And that's why it says, I believe in the book of James, it says, we count them happy. We count Job happy. All the shit that Job went through, we count Job as that's a happy thing. And look at the latter end of it too, because he endured the chastening, because he believed in what his father was doing to him was beneficial for him, and therefore he got the reward for that belief.
I got that in James.
Yeah.
The book of James 5 and verse 10. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience.
And patience means to suffer. Endurance means to suffer patience, man. Even I always say it, when you think about the root word of patience, it's a patient. And a patient is somebody that's in a hospital, somebody that's suffering something. So we are in this truth. We got to suffer the things of this world, but we got to endure it. Because even when you're in a hospital sick, they tell you, to just keep fighting. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Well, that's how we got to be in the truth, man. That's the spirit. Outside. Because that's what you got to do, man. That's what it is. Hey, this word is like the ambulance is carrying us to where we need to be. To Mount Sinai. Good.
Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy.
You know, man, the Lord is very pitiful, man. The scripture says he's not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. So even though the Lord is putting us through this, Lord is looking at, remember, he said he declared the end from the beginning. So he's looking at the reward. He's looking at the outcome of it. If you endure this, I know, remember, fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. At the end of the day, the kingdom is still there. No matter what you're going through, the Lord is going to give us something that it says that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. So nothing that we're going through can, as Paul said, can be counted worthy to be compared to the glory that we're going to have. So we count them blessed, we count them happy who endured it, because they believed on the recompense of the reward. They believed on why you're being chastised, why you're being reproached, why you're going through persecution. And some of us, why are you being put to death? You know, you got to believe on, well, I'm being put to death because I'm going to receive a crown of life. So that's why Yahweh Shah said it, be faithful unto death, and you should receive a crown of life. So you believe that, then it really doesn't really matter what you're going through. Yeah, in a moment, I believe that back in Hebrews it says that. In a moment, it sucks. But when you are a spiritually minded person, we don't really live spiritually in the moment. We live carnally in the moment. The scripture says, boast not in tomorrow. But spiritually, we're setting our affections on things above, man. Our conversation is in heaven. We're thinking about the future of what our lives is going to be. Not here in America, but in the kingdom. So nothing that's happening presently should be able to affect you to the point where you stop believing on what is going to come to you if you endure.
Okay. Another one real quick. We're on to that same point. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said unto me, these words are in red. This is the words of Yahweh. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Hey, and that goes into, as the brother said before, everybody got different levels of chastisement. You know, everybody got different levels of affliction, different levels of things that they got to go through. But Yahweh Shai knows exactly what we all can bear. So the grace that he gives us is sufficient for us. Because Paul got dealt, whatever it was, to him, obviously, I mean, even when you think about it, Paul got dealt a very strong hand of affliction. As opposed to Peter, even though they all got put to death, but like the life that they had to live was a very strong hand of affliction. And Paul, the Lord told Paul that my grace is sufficient for you. So you're going to be able to endure everything I'm going to put you through. I'm going to put you through some shit, but you're going to be able to endure it. And that's why you can't really look at another man's life and compare it. I think Paul talked about that, measuring, commending themselves amongst themselves. You can't do that, because the Lord gave everybody a different portion of faith. He gave everybody a different portion of gift, and he gave everybody a different portion of grace. And all you got to do is walk in your path. That's what got you salvation. That's right.
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of a Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong.
Yep. When I'm weak, then I'm strong. Why? Because you're still going through it. So all the afflictions and infirmities you're going through, you're still here. You're still in the truth. So that means that's an indicator that the Lord is dealing with you. The fact that because when we get those times where shit just going wrong in our life, but we still are able to think about Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we're still able to think about doing good, we still have the Spirit separate with us. That gives you an even bigger boost of, oh man, the Lord's still dealing with us. You know, that's what you got to be strong in. Remember, the Lord said the Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This flesh is nothing. We're all going to get sick. We're all going to get hurt. We're all going to go through stuff. But if your spirit is still stayed on the Lord, then that's what separates an elect man from a person of two-thirds. The fact that no matter what you're going through, your mind is stayed on Yahweh. Because a lot of people, even people that was in this truth, I believe Yahweh talked about it in Matthew the 13th chapter, about the seeds, when the cares of this world or the things of this world, get too hard, he gets offended and he falls out. Because if you fall out, that means that you really didn't have faith, and you wasn't really steadfast and rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
Got it. Yeah, quick point going into what we just read as well. Another thing that really glorifies the Lord is that He has men like us that are in a low state, that deal with afflictions, infirmities, all the things about us, our imperfections, and yet the Lord still brings it out through the foolishness of preaching. All that furthers is the Lord's name, and it makes us want to glorify Him more. Using men like us that are lowly in this world in order to bring out this highest truth, this high level knowledge of wisdom and understanding. That's it.
Brothers and sisters, priests and believers, the one from Hebrews. This is my own law, 144, Hebrews 12 and 11. Now, no chastising for the present seeming to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
Hey, he was a prime example of that. Yahweh Shai, man. He knew that chastising wasn't going to be joyous, to the point where he prayed to not have to drink that cup. You know, so like even us, the Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, we know it's not going to be joyous, but we rejoice in the outcome of it. You know, because we have faith that the Lord is going to protect us from it, but it's going to suck. You know, it's not going to be joyous, man. But that chastisement also is that last straight gate, as spoken about in 2 Ezra, the 7th chapter. We're still walking on the path of the fire on the left and the deep water on the right. And this is the last leg of it, to where we get to that city where it is all good things, man. Everything that you can desire is going to be there, man. And the Lord said it that even before you ask, you're going to have it. All your heart's desires is going to be given unto you, but you got to walk that straight gate. And Yahweh Shai, he did it first.
I can use the example of the patients, right? Hospital. We're all in recovery still. You know what I'm saying? We're still recovering from our being in this world. Amen. Every day. Yeah, it's better, yeah. We're recovering. We are recovering. We're trying to get others to recover now. You know, so while we still recovering in the meantime, because we always get better and we learn and develop the truth too. It says in Isaiah, the whole head is sick. Laden with iniquity. They have not been qualified with ointment, right? But there's a precept I believe in Wisdom of Solomon that says this word is ointment, or something along those lines. You know, so like you said, get that healing from it. You describe how Israel was doing sometimes. I was reading the book of Jeremiah, because the dude put that scripture, so I read the other part of Jeremiah 29. It really told me how Israel was just violent, and it said it was villainy in Israel. It said it was lying, and they say that in the Lord's name. So I mean, they're using the Lord's name and lying and like being very, very, yeah. But you know, back then it's like all leading up into now. It's like it's all been happening all in the meantime. So they went from the time of Jeremiah to now, and then you're gonna go back all the way back to Moses until now. It was just Israel just violent, and Israel's still violent right now. That's why the Lord got us in that same person He sent the first time.
Jeremiah 30, verse 11. It says, "For I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I scatter thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. All thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not, or have wounded thee with a wound of an enemy, and with a chastisement of a cruel one. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest for thy affliction? Why, thy sorrow is incurable. For thy multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee. You know, and that's why a lot of our people, they go into these other philosophies and into, you know, drugs and everything else, because they're trying to look for a cure for the wound, man. You know, they're trying to look for something to soothe them. But there's only one thing that can soothe Israel, man. You can't go to Esau, even though and Esau being a damn witch, he'll give you witchcraft, he'll give you some drug to make it seem like you are being cured. But what does drugs usually do? All it does is mask up the pain. It doesn't take it away. You're not cured. You know, you're what's they call it? You're being treated.
There's certain difference between a treatment and a cure. Nothing that America does, nothing that Esau does, nothing that all of these other, as the Lord call it, these other lovers does is going to cure the affliction and the disease that Israel has, man. The only thing that can cure it is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai coming back to him. Hey, that's what Jake is. Jake is just a bunch of treatment, getting treatment, but the treatment is actually, because even with like cancer, when you treat cancer, other things starts to happen to you. You start to lose your hair, you start to get sickly, you start to throwing up. What they call it, chemotherapy.
That's radiation.
You burning out your blood cells, man. It's actually killing the cells that are actually supposed to kill off the cancer naturally. They use chemotherapy to actually kill those cells. That's why when people start doing that chemotherapy, they get worse.
Yeah, because the chemo, I don't think it can't differentiate between the cancer cells or your regular cells.
Right.
So it basically takes them both out. Yeah,
it actually goes to show you how much of a demon Esau is, man. Like what it said that the tender mercies of the wicked is cruel. Like this is supposed to save your life by fucking showing you. Like what?
Upside down. Yeah. I know, brother. I just want one testament to that. I know somebody's going to chemo with a client of mine. He was in chemo. He had throat cancer. And basically, throughout the process of the radiation, something with the chemo happened to where there's something in his throat to where now he can't hear.
See?
But you know what's crazy? It's likely that the cancer, he can hear very well. It's likely that the cancer is caused by Esau's system anyway. Yeah. Right. He gives you the cancer and then he kills you to treat the cancer he gave you. Tender mercy of the makes sense there. Research to back up the point someone made earlier. All right, going into how our people always go into these different philosophies, looking for the truth or looking for some type of healing. All right, some type of resolution to their problems. But they have to understand that the only way you're going to do that is by coming back to the Heavenly Father. Okay, the way we're teaching. All right, there's a book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 1. It says, "Come and let us return unto the Lord Yahweh, for he hath torn and he will heal us. He has smitten and he will bind us up." All right. And how do we know that? Because when you go back into the book of Deuteronomy, it tells you how the Lord was going to tear us up as a nation, man. If we were to go off, these are the curses that were going to befall you. And if you were to do the right thing, these will be the blessings that will come upon you, man. Okay? And us, through the Spirit of Yahweh, we're doing the right thing, the Lord. So we're receiving of those blessings, starting with the understanding of the Heavenly Father's will. And the rest of the world are doing what? The rest of the world of Israel, or what are they doing? They're doing things that's going to breed what? Their own destruction, man. All right? So continue in verse 2, Hosea 6 and 2. "After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight." And we are in that third day. Okay, we are in that third day, and that temple is being built right now as we speak. Okay, right now we're building the temple. Okay, we're building that ark. All right, another precept. There's a book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 12. It says, "Go and proclaim these words."
Like he said, after 2 days he will revive us. And you go into like a synonym to revive is like to restore. And when you go into like, somebody restores you back to health. And we've been restored in the second day that we're in. We've been restored back to health through this word, man. So the Lord has revived us. He has brought us back to a healthy state. Patience. And now we're about to be, because after you get brought back into a healthy state, then you get released from the hospital. And that's when the Lord's about to release us from this hospital, which is what? Being taken out of this place, man. Change. Yep. When you come out of the hospital, you say, "I feel brand new." Renewed. That's it.
It's not there. I mean, because when you get checked into the hospital, they give you a change of raiment. They put you in the hospital. That's it. And then, you know what I'm saying? When you get out the hospital, you get your regular clothes back. So when your old shot comes back, what's he come to do? He's coming to change. That's why it says what? Clothes white and pure, and you have palms in your hands. That you can't leave the hospital. You change the darkness. But then once you get the new bodies, that means you can release. Now what are you gonna do? You be free. You can drive your car, you can go back home, you can finally eat real food in that hospital. You can finally rejoice, you can see your family again, you could really live life again, man. They call it when somebody's really sick, they call it like a deathbed.
This is the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So that's why the Lord said He's going to revive us, and He's doing it right now. All right, it's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 12. It says, "Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say," and where we at? We in the north. All right. It says, "And say, return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith the Lord Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord Yahweh thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion." It says, verse 15, "And I will give you pastures according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding." That's what's happening now. Okay, so how is the revival happening? Is by the Lord's words, by putting His men out there, the pastors that are giving you what? That food. Okay, so you can get revived, man. All right, and part of that food is what? Your identity. You know, you got to know who you are and what kind of food you can eat. That's going to benefit you, man. You know, and that's these philosophies that people like to take on and so on and so forth. But your actual diet that as an Israelite you're supposed to be on is these scriptures, man. You know, that's the only way you can survive. You know, you want to eat somebody else's food. Guess what? It's not built for you to eat. You know, that's where you develop all these sicknesses and so on and so forth. You know, but the Lord said, "What? Turn, O backsliding children." Right? Saith the Lord, "For I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I'll bring you to Zion." Okay, so he's selecting his elect. You know, you have a whole city, you have a whole family, but he's picking a few out of those who are going to turn back to him, and ultimately the rest of the family, the rest of the city, and the rest of the nation are going to come back together.
Because even when you think about like sheep, a sheep can't tend to itself. Like, even though a sheep is it's a beast, but certain beasts, certain animals were created to be domesticated. You know, and I seen this thing on social media where there was a sheep that was basically like left alone. I don't know if it was purposely or maybe it strayed away, but like it was by itself for like 6-7 years. And when he seen it, it said that it was like it shared, I guess the part, it was so much on him that he couldn't really even like walk. When you see that, so they had to shave it all off. Like his face was just covered with it, and it made me think like, because like when you have a sheep by itself, you gotta first worry about like the other prey, the predator animals. But let's say that doesn't happen, but the sheep itself, it's not gonna be able to keep its coat shaven down, so that can actually become a detrimental to itself. So that's why even when I think about that as Israel, the Lord equates us as sheep. We can't be left alone, you know, because if we're left alone, we can't take care of ourselves. You know, whether or not it be the other beasts of the field, these nations that come and prey upon us, or whether it just be us being by ourselves, we're not meant to not have a shepherd. We're not meant to just to be on by ourselves, because our hair will grow, which will cause different type of ailments and diseases. Won't be able to walk that fast, won't be able to eat that much, whatever. Won't be able to see. So when I was seeing that sheep, and when he got taken care of, and he basically the person, they said it was like I think like 80 pounds worth of wool. Yeah, 80 pounds worth of wool over those 6-7 years that it was by itself. And they're saying like that was a record. And I'm like, yo, damn, like, yo, sheep really can't be by itself. And I'm like, that's why the Lord equates us to his sheep, man. That's why he told Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. Because that's our duty for once we came into the truth and got this knowledge, it's our duty now to tend to the flock. You know, it's our duty to make sure that we're always tending to the flock as shepherds, which the word pastor goes into synonymous to a shepherd. Because if you don't tend to the flock, then the flock is not going to be able to be sustained, man. And that's why if you have this truth, it's a duty for you to teach this word, man, to your best of your ability, to the faith in the gift that the Lord gave unto you. Because if you don't, that means that you're leaving the flock to tend to itself, and the flock can't do that. A sheep can't do that. Uh-oh.
Right, I think it's true. 3-7.
Luke 1:76. And now child shall be called the prophet of the highest, but thou shalt go before the face of the Lord to prepare his ways. Speaking of John the Baptist, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by the remission of their sins, through the tender mercy of our power, whereby the day spring from on high hath visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet in the way of peace. Right? We need to be guided because we are the sheep of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So we're in the valley of the shadow of death. You know, we're in the lowest state. We're in these bodies of death, and we're in the captivity that represents death. So the light was given to those that sat in darkness. We were in ignorance, and the Lord, through the Heavenly Father, through his Son Yahushua, through his servants, the prophets, gave us that light. All right, the light was imparted to us, and that was the guidance of our feet, which guided us to continue to walk in his faith, so that we can receive a crown of life. In the end, Lord's will we endure.
I got a precept. St. John 10, verse 13. It says, the hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and cares not for the sheep. For I am the good shepherd, red letter, Yahushua, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As my Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. Other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they should hear my voice, and there should be one fold and one shepherd. You know, and that's the thing about a shepherd and a sheep. You know, the shepherd is known of the sheep. The sheep knows, like, yo, this is my shepherd. I gotta follow him. If a person on a farm, you go to a farm and you try to tell a sheep to come here, if the shepherd's there, he's not gonna go. He's gonna listen to the actual shepherd, man, because he knows the voice of that shepherd. And that's us, Lord willing. That's why when we heard this truth, even though we heard it from men, we wasn't really listening to the man that was speaking. It was Yahweh Shem Yahushua speaking through that man, which allowed us being his sheep. We heard that, and now we follow the lamb. We follow the shepherd. You know, wherever he goes, man, because we recognize his voice, and that's why no matter what, there's nothing that can distract us or take us away from following that voice. Even unto death, we're going to follow the voice of the Lord, man.
Yes. Yeah. To the point of I was gonna say to the point of us being sheep, and basically everything we do is according to the Lord's will. I got this hope this connects like I thought it does, like I feel it does. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 47, it's at the top. And it says, and after him rose up Nathan to prophesy in the time of David. As is the fat taken away from the peace offering, so was David chosen out of the children of Israel. He was chosen. He played with lions as with kids, and with bears as with lambs. And here's the point, 4 and 5. It says, verse 4, slew he not a giant when he was yet but young, and did he not take away reproach from the people, when he lifted up his hand with the stone and the sling, and beat down the boasting of the lion.
So 4 and 5, here's the point. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of the people. So always the Lord, man. And David's that example because he was the king. And he took the republic of his people. And he's going to do that with the power of the Lord to steer him. You know? So that's 47. Verse 6, 13.
Hey, and speaking about David, what was he known for? To be attendant to the flock. You know, Psalm 78. Psalm 78, verse Psalm 78, verse
you can't. Why the brothers trying to like the Lord does it. We're all puppets in a sense. Like, puppets, like, I don't do something like I don't know somebody asked my I asked somebody else. If you're trying to ask me what gives you a thought. Anyone answer that? What gives you a thought? I asked that what gives you a thought? What gives you a thought? Because his profession he's doing, he didn't think he was going to be doing that when he was younger. That's the Lord being like, you know, man's born to the Lord. And I asked a couple friends of mine in the world too, like, what gives you a thought? Why do you think the things you think? Oh, because the experiences I've been through. But how would that make a thought?
Like what is that gentleman think about? Whatever he think about the Lord putting in his mouth. That's crazy. Going on with pen and paper, like it's just like everybody here is of the puppeteer of Yahweh Shai. And that's why you have to fear that, because like he's in control of every single thing. Those pigeons right there. Just whatever insect, I think that was a little bee, whatever. All of that, the Lord created all that. And you mean to tell me that you're not gonna give him no reverence at all? Like the Lord said, just acknowledge your faults. Our people don't acknowledge, they don't think they're at fault. They don't think it's a positive.
And that's the thing, man. Yeah. That's why the Lord is so angry, because he already knows that you're at fault.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, like it's like when a father with a child again, and you know your child did something. He's like, yo, man, I'll have mercy, just admit it.
Right.
And he's like, no, I didn't do it. I'm like, I know you did it. Just tell me you did it, and it'll be all right. I didn't do it. So he's like, now you've been lying in my face and
like,
pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like, you're not beating you for lying. Because I'm not even beating you for the action anymore. Yeah. It's because of your pride. You know, and that's the thing. That's why the Lord said that in that day, he's going to cause all the pride to cease. Because of the many great misery shall be done to them in the latter day, because they walk in great pride. That's why, you know, because we all fall short of the glory, we all sin, but it's the ones who sin with pridefulness. That's what the Lord's like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? like I'm showing you your transgressions in the house of Jacob, your sins, and you telling me no? You telling me that's not what's going on?
That's not you.
That don't apply to you? Yeah. That's why I believe in Isaiah. I had it real quick. Isaiah, the first chapter. Let me pull it up. Isaiah chapter 1. Tight. Isaiah 1, chapter 1, verse 18, it says, I'm sorry, at 17, 16, it says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings before mine eyes, to cease to do evil. Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come, this is the point. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If ye be willing in obedience, ye shall eat the good of the land. And that's the thing. The Lord said, come, let us reason together, man. I know y'all wicked. I know y'all in the flesh, but come and reason with me. Learn to me. As Yahweh Shai said, my yoke is easy. Lord didn't even say, I'm gonna make this hard for you. Like, it's hard in the flesh, but in the spirit, it's not really that hard. It's like the what are the fruits of the spirit? Peace, love, gentleness, stuff like patience. All those things are qualities of good things. Like you find somebody that have all those qualities, like, that's a really good person. You know what I mean? That's a really good person. So it's like those things that the Lord is telling us to be like is a person that everybody says that they want to be, but they don't ever want to. They don't really want to do it because they don't want to. They rather live in the place of the flesh. They rather do the things of the flesh. So it's like you say you want to be a gentle or nice and loving, or not. I don't want to use the word nice because you know what that means. But gentle, meek, loving, humble. But then you do the display, the actions of everything that's opposite of that, man. You know. So the Lord said, "Come and reason. Let's reason together." And all the thing that you really got to do is just acknowledge it, and then the Lord will sup with you, and then He'll give you the spirit to be able to walk in the ways of Him, man. You know, He'll give you the spirit to be able to be just to the best of your ability. No, none of us is really just, but the just shall live by faith. So if you got faith, you're just. You know what I mean? But regardless of that scripture, it just shows you the mercy of the Lord, man. The fact that He's saying that I'm not requiring you to be 100% perfect. I'm not requiring you to never break a law again. I'm going to make you like that if you just reason with me. I'm going to change you so that you can keep my laws perfectly. But right now, all you got to do is just try and reason and acknowledge your faults, man. And that's the thing. The thing about acknowledging your faults, that takes what? Being humble. You got to be able to put your pride aside to say, yeah, I fucked up. And a lot of people don't do that. This world doesn't teach people to do that, man. This world teaches people to hide their faults, or go around their faults, or try to act like to be oblivious to their faults. Even when people get in accidents, you see it all the time. Oh, you did this? No, you did that. Like, yo, you clearly the one that's backed up. They be like, no, why you park so right close to me? Like, yo, like, what are you doing right now, bro? Just say, yo, my bad, yo, I ain't mean to X, Y, and Z. And then what happens when you do that? That person be like, you know what? It's all good. It's not a problem. There's benefits of being humble, but this world doesn't teach that. They don't teach the benefit of being humble. Want to say something?
No, well, you said if you say like what you just said, like if you answer a certain way, that's actually a scripture too. Proverbs 15. Yeah, soft answer, turn away wrath, or something like turn of anger. Right. Yeah. So like,
and
it work. That does work too.
And who's the wrath that we trying to get turned away from? The Heavenly Fathers, man. Right. So you better give a soft answer to the Lord, man. Like what? That's the one entity that you can't try to buck up against, man. But Jake does it every day, man. The fact that we're out here and you got people scoffing, as the Lord said, they that despise you, you're despising the Lord, man. So when you're bugging up against us, it's not really that answer that you're giving is not to us. This is like, okay, like we feel it, but it's like we feel it because of the spirit that's in us. But really, who you really are coming against is the Heavenly Father. Like what? Like this is a whole nother realm that you're dealing with, man.
Hey, what the Lord said in Mark 16, it said, when you ones that speak, basically speaking against it, you condemn. I think the 16th chapter, like it's like.
Oh, he said, "Woe unto them who offenses come by. Offenses must come, but woe unto them who offenses come by, man."
You think about this.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I wanted to get something real quick because we had spoken about the healing. Malachi chapter 4 verse 1. For behold, the day cometh, saith the for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. And it was the first thing that it says, all the proud, man. The proud, pride is the beginning of sin, man. When you have pride, at that point, you don't think that there's no consequence for your action, and you think that you can't be touched, and you can't have that thought as a man. That the pride was not made for man. So that's why it says that day cometh that shall burn like an oven. Verse 2, it says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings." And that goes back to the whole topic that we was talking about, being patient, being suffering, being having disease. The Lord is coming, Yahweh Shai is coming back with healing in his wings, man. We've already been healed right now in the spirit, but we're looking for that healing, the overall healing of the changing of the body, of the conditions that we're in, seeing the being vexed with the conversations of the wicked. Yahweh Shai is going to heal. The earth is going to be healed. The mindsets of the people are going to be healed. So the Lord is coming back for one man is about to just change everything, man. And he got the power to do it. Right? He got the power to do it, man. And that's why the scripture says that in that day, that even after a time, the nations, they're going to rejoice